Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone with zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
HIV is not a crime, or it shouldn't be. People living with HIV can do and live fully healthy lives
without risk of transmitting the virus to others.
But a different fear remains.
In 30 states, Americans are being imprisoned due to their HIV status.
It's time for the laws to catch up to science.
Join the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation to modernize outdated HIV criminalization laws. Go to etaf.org.
HIV is not a crime.
Campaign funded through the support of Gilead Sciences, Incorporated.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's. If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers. Learn more at parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from IQ Bar. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at eatiqbar.com/policy/terms of service.
Most protein bars are packed with sugar, carbs, and unpronounceable ingredients. There's a much better option. I'm Will, and I crafted IQ Bar plant protein bars with clean, functional, delicious ingredients to empower doers like you with superior brain and body fuel.
Now you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping when you text RADIO to 64,000. That's RADIO to 64,000.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
The Canes light the lamp here. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. With an upper level ridge in place, we'll see very warm temperatures both today and tomorrow. Then a better chance for showers and storms ahead of our next cold front on Easter Sunday. That best chance for rain during the back half of the day, then cooler next week.
Hands it to Aho. He'll jump in on the rush. Jarvis with it. Nikishin. He scores! Short-handed! Alexander Nikishin. Another shot. That'll score! Martinook let it go. Power play for Carolina. And they score! Andrei Svechnikov. A beautiful setup. Aho, Gostisbehere, Svechnikov. Back of the net. 5-1 Carolina.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan is live in Indianapolis. Final Four Radio Row. Thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. It has been a really fun couple of days.
Oh, yeah.
We have a whole bunch of interviews and coaches that we want you to hear from. But one of the stories that had been sitting over the entire week here appears to have come to a close. And that would be the Tommy Lloyd, head coach of Arizona, flirtation with Carolina. And we can pass along some info for you. Such as Arizona coach, this comes from Pete Thamel, ESPN insider. Arizona coach Tommy Lloyd has agreed to a new deal with the school. He announced Arizona's new 5-year deal with Lloyd will make him one of the 5 highest paid coaches in college basketball. It'll start with the 2026-2027 season, and at nearly $7.2 million, it will average $7.5 million over the life of the deal.
It's a lot of money.
The buyout is expected to remain hefty, which, based on the fact that he wouldn't say no to Carolina, Arizona probably fought for in those negotiations.
Probably.
We want that high buyout. But here's where it gets more interesting. Matt Norlander of CBS Sports, senior writer, analyst, tweeted this. According to his sources, UNC offered Tommy Lloyd a top 2 contract in college basketball. Lloyd took less to stay in Arizona, but still gets a bump amongst other things. Incentives, staff pool will rise, and he no longer has to report to the athletic director. Carolina offered top 2 money in college basketball.
It's a lot of money.
So that means Carolina was planning on paying $5 million plus for Hubert Davis to go away, paying the $8-9 million buyout for Tommy Lloyd to be removed from his contract at Arizona, and still make him one of the top 2 highest paid coaches in college basketball. Whether this worked out or not for Carolina, and obviously it didn't, that's a real, hey, they've got their money in order style move. I would hope that the next coach, assuming it's a lower on their priority tree, they wouldn't have to pay quite as much, but I hope they keep that same financial investment, because that would lead towards more NIL, more staffing, more everything else.
By the way, the highest paid coach in basketball is Bill Self, making north of $8.8 million a year.
So
second highest is approximately $8 million a year to John Calipari.
So you could expect 8+
Yeah.
is what they were offering Tommy Lloyd, in addition to the money they would have had to come up for buyouts.
Dan Hurley's making just over $7.7 million at UConn.
That's real money. That's big money, and that is a announcement by Carolina that they are financially as secure as they've ever been. Obviously, part of the conversation then turns to, well, if it's not Tommy Lloyd, who is it?
Yeah.
If it is somebody that there's a reason why they're waiting, to me it limits it to 2.5 names, with it being Dusty May, Billy Donovan, and then the half would be Danny Hurley?
Maybe.
Because I guess they could give him a raise if they offered Tommy Lloyd more money than he was getting. If it's not somebody, if they were truly waiting for Tommy Lloyd and their number 2 is somebody who should have already been available, then it opens everybody else back up into the pool.
So take Tommy Lloyd out of the equation, which means there's 3 guys coaching right now. It's Brad Underwood at Illinois, Dusty May at Michigan, and Dan Hurley at UConn,
and everyone in the NBA,
and then everyone in the NBA.
Yep,
That's it.
But they also could double back, right? Their number 2 option may have been someone who is available and not coaching, but their number 1 option was Tommy Lloyd, so they were waiting, and now they could go back to one of those. It's obviously very tight-lipped, and this is a significant development. I do want to make a point, though. It would have been a massive flex if UNC took Tommy Lloyd from Arizona, particularly after the season Arizona is having, right? If they would have gotten a Final Four coach at Arizona to leave, that would have been a massive flex. At the same time, as you know, in college sports it exists, as other fans look to kind of tap dance on Carolina and, oh, how embarrassing, and, oh, they don't have as much pull as they used to. I don't think it is embarrassing at all that a top, 3 or 4 job in the country couldn't steal a guy from a top 7 job in the country who already has it cranking there, right? And actually, we can use the Athletic poll. The Athletic polled, surveyed 51 current head and assistant coaches in college basketball about what the top job in the entire country is. Not top available job, just top job. And Carolina was tied for 2nd and Arizona was 6th. I don't think it's an embarrassment that a tied for 2nd job couldn't steal from the 6th best job in the country. Right now, if they wanted somebody that was at the 30th job in the country and they offered him top 2 money and got turned down, then you do have to start looking around and wondering if valuations were wrong or if they were too big for their britches. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is that at all. It's simply you would have needed Tommy Lloyd to kind of want out in order to make it work because, if his goal is to win, he's proving he can do that at Arizona. So it's I don't think it's an indictment on Carolina unless it proves that there's disorganization there, and where do they go from it next. Basically, I'm saying all this to say this. The transfer portal opens on Tuesday.
Yeah.
If they were waiting for Tommy Lloyd, fine. If you don't have your coach by Tuesday, then I start to worry about the execution of it all, right? Because Tuesday is very, very important. You're going to see guys, your opponents are going to be getting better, and you're not going to be doing anything because you don't have your coach unless you have your guy by Tuesday, right? So to me, everybody's going to be enjoying the Final Four. We're here in Indianapolis. All the coaches are here. Everyone's having a good time. Everybody's going to be watching games. Carolina needs to be working aggressively to have their coach in time by Tuesday morning is probably too late. It needs to be like Monday evening at the latest.
All right, Chicago Bulls aren't making the playoffs in the NBA. Billy Donovan's name's been floating around. Should we be surprised if we hear Billy Donovan resigns as the head coach of the Chicago Bulls effective this weekend? Then on Monday we hear Billy Donovan announced as a UNC head basketball coach in time for the portal to open?
I would not be surprised if that happens.
I'd
be surprised if there's a gap between his announcing he's resigning and us learning that he's the Carolina coach.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it happens this weekend.
Surprised wouldn't be the right word, but it's not a sure thing, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, but I'm not saying it will, which is the issue, right? And I'm on the record saying, I don't know if Billy Donovan's the right guy. Not anything to do with Billy Donovan, more to do with age and the fact that he hasn't been around the college basketball world after all of these changes. If they're waiting, it better be for somebody pretty darn special, right? Mm-hmm. If they're waiting, it better be for somebody that is worth missing out on the first wave of big name free agents. They're free agents.
Yeah, they're basically
big name transfer portal options. Mm-hmm. And that's putting more and more and more pressure. One of the other things that has come up multiple times, and you'll hear it throughout our conversations that we air for you, is the Carolina job comes with inherent pressure that you might not have even at one tier down, right? Arizona maybe has a hint less pressure than even at Carolina. If you start adding, not only are you good, but you're so good that you can show up late to the transfer portal world and reach Carolina's assumed expectations, it's starting to make it more, the degree of difficulty starts to rise and rise and rise.
Yeah.
And, hat tip where it's due. Tommy Lloyd did not say no about Carolina long enough that he got his employers to break the bank for him, right? If he wanted to stay in Arizona, but he was thinking it'd be nice to have a few more, doubloons in his pocket, he played it perfectly. And it pretty much all happened between games for Arizona, I guess. So now they get to play tomorrow, and the distraction that he kept saying he wasn't distracted by is no longer a distraction.
Well, we were distracted by the wrong thing. Yeah, he's negotiating a contract just with his own school.
Very true. By the way, this conversation, the breaking news of Tommy Lloyd's contract extension with Arizona, has acted as our Big Three at 3 today. And the Big Three at 3, as always, is brought to you by Maynard Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Their owner, Brett, all the way on down. Service you can trust from Maynard Service Company. Check them out online, maynardservices.com. We do have a conversation that I think many of you would love to hear. Coming up next, it is Wes Miller, a name who at points in time had been brought up as a possible in-the-family Carolina coaching pipeline style. I wouldn't say for Carolina's job, but down the line for Carolina's job. A former guard at Carolina, now the current coach at Charlotte as of a few weeks ago. We talked to him earlier today, and you're going to hear that conversation coming up next.
Hey, folks, Paul Eihander here once again from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. Things are really heating up in the tournament, and FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single game day leading up to the big championship game. Yes, we are down to the last teams standing. Build a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout, or try live betting and jump in after tip-off. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. So get yourself started. Visit FanDuel.com/Paul. That's FanDuel.com/Paul. Paul with a capital P, of course. And claim your first profit boost and keep the action going from now till the big championship. FanDuel, play your game. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Range Fest, presented by Capital Range and Firearms, at the range at True North in Oxford on Saturday, April 11th. Experience a day of shooting activities for all skill levels, live music, games, and delicious food. Tickets at rangefest.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan continues from Radio Row at the Final Four in Indianapolis, thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. Joining us now here on the Radio Row is Wes Miller, brand new head coach of Charlotte. He's got the gear on, looking the part. Coach, congratulations on the gig. What do we got? We got played at Carolina, Elon, High Point as assistants. You've done the UNCG thing. Now Charlotte. You collecting like Carolina colleges and some kind of putting like a gauntlet together.
I'm really proud that I added this up when I was flying to Charlotte to do the press conference. But 33 of the 43 years I've been on this earth I've spent in the state of North Carolina. But you skip over UNCG like it's just another one. I was at some of those places for 1 year. I was at UNCG for, I think, 11 total and 10 as a head coach.
With a lot of success.
Yeah, so I did put my feet down there a little bit. But no, listen, I've always been very proud of being from the state of North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I've been very fortunate that I got to spend the majority of my basketball life in that state, and I'm thrilled to be back.
And I failed to mention in the intro, also an author. What is it? The Road to Blue Heaven, about your journey to Carolina and your career playing there. Did you think the Blue Heaven would be looking outside the family, maybe, with the way this coaching search appears to be going?
It's people bring up the book thing, and that was a long time ago. I wish I'd go back and do it better, but that was cool to take on that.
Actually, sequels.
That's right. One day, I say it. One day, I'm going to write a book, and I'm going to talk about some real college basketball stuff.
That's
it could be a bestseller.
A podcast right here, right now. Start it up.
There you go. But no, like my head's been so down. I don't know how many days it's been since I got the Charlotte job, because it feels like one big day, because things happen so fast when you take over a new job. But as I'm walking around the Final Four, even walking through Charlotte, a lot of people have asked about North Carolina. I haven't had time to think about it. We've been so focused on UNC Charlotte. Obviously, I care deeply about that institution and that program. It's such a part of the foundation of who I am as a coach and as a person. So, they'll hire a great coach. There's no way around it. And, the only thing I'd say is you hope the person they hire cares about the things that make that program special over such a long period of time. But I'll always be a pulling for them, and I'll always be supportive unless we're playing them and that type of thing.
Which makes a lot of sense. We're talking with Wes Miller, brand new head coach at Charlotte. You've been through the brand new head coach thing a few times now. What's the priority number one, and maybe even how is it different taking over a program like Charlotte, say, than when you took over UNCG all those years ago, with how much college basketball has changed?
Well, first off, when you take over a job, there's a lot of chaos because, you're trying to figure out how to function within that athletic department. You're trying to retain some people off a roster, add some people off a roster, jump into what now has become a crazy spring for everybody anyway with the portal cycles. So there's a lot of chaos. You're trying to get a staff in place amongst all the outreach things you're trying to do to build, some headway in the community and on the campus. What I've learned from the previous experiences is you can't do it all in one day. You got to focus on the most important things first. And for us, the most important thing is getting the right staff in place and building the right roster. And we try to make sure with all the other things going on that's 1 and 2 every single day here. And it'll probably be that way for the next 4 to 6 weeks.
When it comes to putting your staff together, Marcus Page, there was a lot of positive, even in a kind of chaotic offseason for Carolina, during the coaching transition or whatever you want to call it, Marcus Page was referenced a lot as a guy that the players really liked. What did you see in him, and why'd you bring him to Charlotte?
Well, listen, I got to know Marcus. I mean, I knew Marcus from the time he was playing for Coach Williams. Just being at that time, I was the head coach at UNCG and was in close proximity with the program and would still go down there and watch practice and visit with Coach in those days. So I knew him enough to say hello. But over the last, 2-3 years, as he's transitioned into coaching, he's been somebody that I've gotten to know in a different way, whether it's on the road recruiting or there's an event that some guys do with Coach Williams playing golf in Pinehurst in the summer. So we've interacted more and more, and he's become somebody that I've really come to value as a coach and really been impressed with. And shoot, I tried to hire him at Cincinnati. Nobody knows that. I probably shouldn't have put that out there, but certainly it wasn't the right time for him. But he's a guy I've had my eye on for a long time. He was a great player. I think people in North Carolina, or especially in the Raleigh area here, know that.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be a better coach. He is a rising star in our profession. I think coming to Charlotte will be really good for his growth, and I think it'll be really good for our program as well.
Is he a stick? Can he golf?
Well, yeah, we played down in Pinehurst the last couple of years in August. He's got some work to do on the golf course, but he's an athlete, so he can get around the course a little bit. But he plays golf like a basketball coach. I mean, he's not very good yet. So
well, yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that you guys have to focus on.
That's right.
We're talking with Wes Miller, brand new head coach at Charlotte. You piqued my interest with the book you're going to write, and
that was a joke a little bit.
But we're here at the NABC. The conference is going on. You just came out of the head coaches meeting. Like, what's the buzz? What is everybody talking about as far as this is this big college basketball era of innovation? What are the things that college head coaches are worried about?
Yeah, well, first off, we're in that mode right now, and I think I just said it. It's boring for a radio interview, but my sole focus is our staff right now and our roster, and I'm not even thinking about much else. But if you want to talk big picture, I think.
Or how about this?
All the changes, right? I think I can answer your question. Cool. All the changes in college basketball, portal, the NIL dynamics that are still continuing, I think, to change. Amongst all this other stuff, nobody talks enough about how social media is changed and become such a big part of sports culture and how that impacts young people and our profession. But there's all these things that have changed. What I've really realized is that you have to adapt to all these things, no doubt. You have to come up with new processes and new systems, and new ways of communication. But the fundamental values about what really is successful, what really wins, like the dynamic of team and sacrificing for team, the right work ethic, doing things the right way, building the right relationships, like that stuff always mattered and always mattered at the highest level. It matters at the highest level still. So how can you maintain your values, the things you believe in, and yet adjust and adapt to some of the changes in our landscape? I think that's the trick for all of us as leaders during all this crazy time of college basketball.
Last question before we let you go, and thanks for taking the time. The scheduling to net rankings strategy, right? How does a school like Charlotte we've heard from a lot of the mid-major coaches saying, like, we can't get games to play with us. How do you go through making sure that your schedule is tough enough and net rankings strong enough to make your resume match up with your ability?
Well, I think in the American Conference, we have to get back to getting multiple bids.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that strategy, not just for Charlotte, but for our league, is extremely important. And you guys know this. It's one of the flaws of the system, but it won't be – the non-conference dictates everything for the league. And which, like last year, our team at Cincinnati, we basically started the year without 3 projected starters and had a very difficult non-conference. We got 2 of those guys back in the fold and played great basketball from January on. In a league like the Big 12, you can play your way back into the tournament conversation. But in a lot of leagues, if you're playing your best basketball during that stretch, it may be impossible, even if you're an at-large level team. There's something that's probably not right about that. We have to find the right scheduling solutions. I don't think they're going to change the system in the next couple of years. We have some experience at Greensboro. It's not the exact same, but we really elevated the the RPI rankings in the Southern Conference at that time as a whole, but certainly at UNCG. So I think there are some cool strategies. It's a balance. You got to find those games against quad 1, quad 2 teams. You don't want to play them on the road where you're getting bought, because there's a different kind of disadvantage there. Nobody likes to talk about that, but there's the economics of our game, and that's a real dynamic. You want to try to play those games either in home-and-home situations or in neutral sites. Those are really hard games to find. We went through that in our tenure at Greensboro, and we got really good and got sustainable. Nobody wanted to play us. So then you got to do some different things. I remember one time we went and played at Vermont, and they had Anthony Lamb at the time, who ended up playing for the Warriors. They were like a top 60, 70 team in every metric. We were in that same breath. And so we grew, and neither one of us could get a game. So we won a game at Vermont. To this day, I don't think anybody cared that we won that game. It might be the best one I've ever had as a head coach, because it was but you got to do some creative things to elevate your net, your RPI, and you still have to find that balance of your schedule where you're building your team early in the year, you're getting some confidence, and you're preparing for league play. Because at the end of the day, come on, that league championship, I think, is going to matter no matter where you are.
I agree with that as well. Yeah. Wes, we appreciate you for taking the time, and good luck this season.
Thanks, guys.
Once again, that is Wes Miller, former UNC guard, former coach at UNCG, former assistant at Elon, former assistant at High Point, and current head coach of Charlotte after taking that job a few weeks ago, most recently with Cincinnati. But he's a name that I think Carolina fans hope, especially if it ends up going like a Billy Donovan type, where Billy Donovan, he's in his 60s, might, not be here for a super long time. If Wes Miller can get the buzz of his name up a little bit more at Charlotte, maybe he's a pivot back into the family in a few years at Carolina. Obviously, based on that conversation, you just heard it, he still cares quite a bit about that particular place and that particular program, and he referenced multiple times the relationship that he's had and has with Roy Williams. So, if things go well enough at Charlotte, who knows? And depending on who ends up getting the Carolina job, who knows, right? Because Billy Donovan, maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
Wes Miller's still a young guy. I don't know. I'm just saying, throwing it out there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. When we come back, we will be talking with Fran Fraschilla, ESPN analyst, insider, and former coach of a bunch of different varieties. But before we can do any of that, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tigers. I mean, as much fun as I'm having out here, one of the reasons why I can't wait to get back home this weekend, hop on the motorcycle, enjoy the wonderful weather. One thing as a motorcycle rider that I appreciate is knowing that part of the motorcycle riding community, there are people that have your back, and that's something that Law Tigers is all about. Law Tigers attorneys are part of the motorcycle riding community. They understand the risks that are out there on the road, and they also understand what it's like to be in an accident. And that's why your case evaluation with Law Tigers is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Again, they are there to fight for you. Call them 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com if you're in an accident, and even contact them before you contact your insurance company. Insurance companies, let's be honest, they don't really help you a whole lot. They're there to help themselves. They are there to give you the least amount of money, whereas Law Tigers, they're there to fight for you. give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly live from Radio Row here in Indianapolis. We'll be back with Fran Fraschilla coming up next.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries?
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's bow time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back for limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan, again live in Indianapolis for the Final Four, served up by Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. We are now joined by ESPN college basketball analyst Fran Fraschilla here at our Radio Row booth. I'm going to go into your history here for a second.
You can. You can.
You were an assistant under Rick Barnes back at Providence.
Yes, I was. Yeah, the Pride of Hickory.
There you go.
The Pride of Hickory, yeah.
And NC State in our neck of the woods
yes.
just hired a Rick Barnes assistant and
yes.
Justin Gainey as
yes.
head coach from their time at Tennessee. So I want to know how prepared are the assistants under Rick Barnes?
I'm going to give you back.
I'm
going to give you some. Your listeners will never get this information anywhere else. But Rick Barnes, who has been my mentor since my early 20s, which goes back a long time, 40 plus years. Rick grew up in Hickory, went to Lenore-Rhine, played basketball there, but a big fan of NC State because of a guy named Eddie Biedenbach, who was a great player for the Wolfpack, known as the Pittsburgh Steeler because he was a great defensive guard and came from Pittsburgh. And so Rick always has had an affinity for NC State. And, of course, he had the run-ins with Coach Smith at North Carolina, but that got patched up. But, no, in all seriousness, I know Justin. Obviously, he played at NC State, so he's familiar with the culture, and he was a great player there. And Rick's, he's going to be well prepared because Rick gave him a lot of responsibility, as he did people like me. And I think it's a great hire. He's a great human being, Justin. And based on the fact, and I was a friend of Will Wade's, and Will came back at the right time because now all the stuff that was illegal is legal now, right? NIL, now it's legal. But I think the fan base of the Wolfpack will really embrace him for obvious reasons, and I'm expecting that he's going to do a really, really good job.
So if Rick Barnes was one of your mentors,
Mhm.
and I want you to put on a hypothetical mentor hat.
Sure.
Right? Or maybe think about what your mentors would say.
Yeah.
John Shire goes through the loss to UConn.
Yes.
And now there's this narrative about big games, and
Yeah,
it's been
nonsense.
been thrown on
Total.
so many coaches
Yeah,
over
yeah,
the
yeah,
years.
yeah.
But let's say he comes to you and says like, "Hey, did you see the game? What'd you think? What should I be doing? What should I be changing? What's your advice?"
I wouldn't change much. There's probably been nobody that's replaced a legend any smoothly than John has at Duke. I mean, you really think of what Coach K meant to college basketball. It would almost be impossible to replicate that. As I recall, it took Coach K maybe 10 or 11 years to win the first title. I think it was 91. And there was the same talk in the 80s. About whether Coach K can win the big game. And I have no doubt that John Shire is going to win a national championship. It's so amazing about sports. You may only have seen it on YouTube, but I remember Billy Buckner, and I was a Mets fan, and I was thrilled when the ball went through Bill Buckner's legs. What people don't realize about Bill Buckner, even though he's supposed to be a bum, is that he hit nearly 300 in a long career. He was a great player, And but in John's case, all it took from Caden Boozer, who had a great NCAA tournament one, in basketball camp, we used to take fake high, pass low, fake low, pass high. And had he done that, or maybe held on to the ball, we wouldn't be talking about this. And obviously, unfortunately, Duke would be in the Final Four. I think that anybody who knows John Shire knows he's going to bounce back, going to be better for this. And it's the price you pay for coaching at a place like Duke. I think he'd rather go through this now than his first job being Appalachian State or Lenore-Ryan. So I think you got to put things in perspective. We realize in the coaching profession that he's a tremendous young coach, and he's going to continue to get better and have great teams.
I knew there was something we were vibing about. I'm also a Mets fan, so we see things the right way. Let's look at who will, anytime the Carolina job is opening, right? John Shire are going to be.
I knew this was coming. I'm joking.
I mean, we have to. We're from the triangle.
I get it completely. No, I get it completely. I'm joking.
Is it, first of all, is it still the type of job that it was when a Roy Williams took it over? There's talk about blue bloods not meaning as much anymore.
Yeah.
Is Carolina still that upper super duper tier job?
It is. Another little piece of history. In 1978, I was a 19-year-old college sophomore, and I worked at Dean Smith Carolina Basketball School. I was so thrilled to be a counselor.
Everybody has a Dean Smith connection in coaching.
Yeah.
That. He's like the patriarch.
Well, he's the best. To me, honestly, he's the best college basketball coach of all time. Not that he won any more. He didn't win more championships than Coach K, and I love Coach K. But Coach Smith really taught us all how to be a basketball coach with class. He's such a great man. But when I worked the camp in 1978, my roommate at the camp was some kid from Pittsburgh. His name was Calipari. We go back that far. But I only say that because we were so thrilled to be part of that camp because of Coach Smith. It is a great job. It still is, and I was disappointed that that Hubert was let go. He was my first. I was his first partner at ESPN when he in studio, but I just don't see Tommy Lloyd taking a job, and that's because I'm in the Big 12. I know what they have out there. I get a lot of pushback on Twitter about being wrong, and if he takes it, I'll be happy for him because it is a great job. But I don't see him messing with Happy out in Tucson. People don't realize that in many ways, what Lute Olson built out there is not quite Carolina or Duke, but it's really close. And he's a West Coast guy. So now, if he takes it, it's an amazing hire. If he doesn't take it, then it means that they have somebody else probably lined up to take it. And I don't know who that is. It could be Billy Donovan, speculation.
Yep.
It could be another big-time coach whose name's not out yet. Maybe it's somebody we thought might have taken it, and then you hear they're staying at their school. But once they get through the Final Four, and if Tommy Lloyd does turn it down, then they probably have to have a plan B and plan C. Having said that, just because I know there's a lot of Carolina fans listening, if he takes the job, he's a great coach, and he would fit right in. He's he's different than Roy. He's different than Coach Smith, but he's in the same ilk from being a first-class human being, and that would wear well.
We're talking with Fran Fraschilla, ESPN college basketball analyst here in Indianapolis for the Final Four. There's a lot of talk in our area about going outside the family of Carolina.
Yes.
But something you said, right? You, Coach Calipari at a Dean Smith camp.
Yeah.
Tommy Lloyd being, Mark Few's protege. Few and Roy Williams are legendarily friends.
That's right.
Is it possible to go outside the Carolina family, or have those branches gone so far into every nook and cranny that kind of everybody has that connection?
Coach Smith and Coach Williams certainly had the tentacles out. Yeah. I mean, the relationships, and I know, Mark Few and I are very close friends, and I know Mark has got some great close friends, among them being Roy Williams. But I think that they will, I think it's time to go outside the family. And, like Wes Miller is a dear friend, and Wes is going to do, I think, a great job at Charlotte. And there could be a time, because he almost had it going at Cincinnati, that I could see Wes turning the Charlotte program around, and then like in 5, 7, 8, 9 years, he's so young that, you could go back into the family with somebody like Wes, But at the present time, I think there's probably the best choice is to go outside the family. And again, Carolina fans aren't going to care as long as they're back in the top 5.
You become family real quick.
Exactly.
Before we let you go, do you have a pick? Have you made it public?
No, Arizona, because I know the team so well, having covered the Big 12. But, as I always say, Tim, about the Final Four, on paper, I'd have to check with my man Brent Musburger about what the guys in the desert are saying, what the line is. But the whole point of the Final Four is that if this was best 4 out of 7, which it's not, I would lean towards Arizona or Michigan. But in a one and done, anything can happen. But I'm partial to Arizona because of Tommy and the team I got to know over the last year, covering in the Big 12 so much.
Fran, we appreciate your time, and enjoy the weekend.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
Once again, that is Fran Fraschilla, and I do want to give a little qualifier there on our conversation with Fran. That was recorded prior to the news that Tommy Lloyd had signed his extension or agreed to his extension with Arizona, which is why he brought him up there for a little bit of time as a guy who may or may not take the Carolina job. Obviously, that's with more information, a little bit of a different conversation. Didn't want you to think that Fran was dramatically behind. He's on top of it. That was just recorded earlier. With that being said, we are live here in Indianapolis talking to the likes of Fran Fraschilla and many others, in part because we're sponsored. This trip is sponsored by LinkedIn Ads. Reach your buyers with LinkedIn Ads. Spend $250 and get $250. Get a $250 credit for your next campaign. Visit linkedin.com/college basketball. Terms apply. We will continue here at Indianapolis, Radio Row, for the Final Four with an in-state head coach. Grant Leonard has some spicy takes from Queens. Stick around.
This is Ray Womble Jr. from J.E. Womble & Sons in Louisville. Spring is here and lawn mowing will be in full force. Our new lineup of Bobcat zero-turn mowers are bringing tough to turf. Built to give you a professional edge, engineered to last longer and work harder. Come check out the Bobcat ZT 2000 series at a discount of $1,200 with 0% financing. And remember, if J.E. Womble & Sons doesn't have it, you don't need it.
You've got rhythm, your heart's got rhythm. Then one day your rhythm's off, and you've got AFib, atrial fibrillation. The good news is you've also got an AFib center, where specialists in AFib have multiple treatment options for you. Want more good news? Most of them are minimally invasive. Learn more at wakemed.org. And what do you say you and your heart get the band back together?
Coach, I look at people on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, man, they must have it made. And I look at like fit bodies and people living in big houses, but I think to myself, no, they have discipline, and that's the difference, and that's what they've saved for, and that's what we need to have right now if we want to retire with some money in the bank.
They have discipline or a good editor.
Yeah.
People can make themselves look a lot better online, and you're never going to post bad things.
Amen.
So I tell my daughter, don't judge your life against what you see online, because you're only getting a quarter of the story. If you're happy within and you have a good plan, really doesn't matter what the Joneses are up to, does it?
Amen.
So we don't need to keep up with anybody. We need to make sure that we're keeping up with our trends and what we want to have in retirement. If you want to retire, let's put together a retirement plan. And let me give you my book, The Big Book on Retirement. So if you call now, it'll give you a no cost or no obligation total retirement plan and my book, The Big Book on Retirement.
919-794-7900. 919-794-7900. Or text Amanda to 600-700.
Amanda Daughtry is a paid spokesperson. Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
Sound Station and Security, your automotive and audio experts. Car audio, car video, home theater, wheels and tires, and so much more. Plus, did you know Sound Station and Security offers full service for your vehicle? Alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tinting, and custom exhaust. And with a variety of financing options, Sound Station and Security can help you get what you need today. 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Sound Station and Security. Visit myhotsound.com.
Is going to your local bar the worst part of your day? The bartender ignores you, mediocre food, warm beer? Then why go there? Take 5 minutes and drop in at Sharky's, where they'll give you a free evaluation and you can learn about all the bars that you shouldn't go to. Sharky's has helped thousands find the right bar to hang at. What are you waiting for? Sharky's evaluation could be the cure to the worst part of your day. Change your bar, change your life. Sharky's, 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan continues our coverage from Radio Row here in Indianapolis for the Final Four. It is the Fan Tournament Tailgate live from Indianapolis, served up by Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. We were just talking off air. We flew a long way to talk to a guy in state here. We have Grant Leonard, Queens College head coach, fresh off their first appearance in the NCAA tournament. Coach, one of my favorite bar trivia. First team that starts with the letter Q to ever make the NCAA tournament.
I love that. I love that stat. We're also the smallest school ever to make Queens University of Charlotte, smallest school ever, smallest enrollment to make the tournament. And we did it in our first year eligible.
I'm making fun quirks. You got the real facts, and I like that. Let's talk about it, right? The matchup against Purdue. The whole ride, what does that do for your program as you just mentioned it, right? Smallest this, newest that, and you go on this run. What does that do?
It's amazing, not just for our school and our program and our players, but the Myers Park community, the city of Charlotte. When you go into Charlotte and you see the skyline, they actually lit up the city Queens blue for our game. And that's the first time ever, because normally it's the Hornets teal, but to see the city Queens blue, to see those pictures, amazing.
And there's the good and the bad of all that attention, right? You've been pretty outspoken about SEC assistant coaches, being on the sidelines, maybe guys that obviously, because the portal isn't open until the 7th, haven't put their name in yet, but maybe drawing some scouting attention. I'm interested because this is NABC week, right? All the coaches are here. Have you heard anything about the comments that you've made? Are guys coming up to you?
Yeah, and the Division I head coaches meeting is actually at 11 a.m. here today, and I probably will bring it up.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing as coaches is you're a leader of men. We're supposed to develop young men to become great men, and we have to have ethical boundaries and lines. And I think the need to show up at my game and peacock in front of them while it's an elimination game crosses that ethical line.
We're talking with Grant Leonard, Queens College head coach. The peacocking is interesting to me because you talk about, there needs to be ethical boundaries. That only kind of extends as far as everyone is willing to follow them, right? Unless the rules are written down, and if you break them, you're punished, right?
Right.
Is it almost a challenge if you're going to operate everything kind of on the up and up, when right now it feels like the wild, wild west in college basketball, where if a rule is there, it's going to be pushed by somebody?
But if you're looking at the guys who are in this Final Four, coach, like Dusty May, Coach Lloyd, they are great men. And when you're coaching, you can say it's the wild, wild west, but if your team's going to win, they got to have great character. Because when the things get hard and the cracks come out, like, are they going to stay together? So I don't care what anyone says. As a coach, you have to have strong ethics, and you have to teach those young men how to have that. So when it gets hard, they stay together. So I don't mind standing on this soapbox. I'm going to try and do the right thing. I try and teach my players to do the right thing, to make the right read in the game. But when I leave them at night, to make the right decisions. And then I'm going to continue to do that as a coach.
How do you balance maybe the life-changing money opportunities that some of your guys are going to be presented with when, Queens, you just brought it up, right? The smallest university to make the tournament, the alumni base might be a little bit more difficult to get those 7-figure payouts that they could potentially earn at other schools.
No, and we're going to embrace that. I want to help kids get life-changing opportunities. I'm not mad if a kid goes in the portal. I'm going to support them and then help them get to the situation that's best for them. But we still don't need to peacock to poke them out. You don't need to sit there and beat your chest. Like, we know you're an SEC assistant. Everyone does, right? And my thing is, do the right thing, do it the right way. Okay, you're not gaining an advantage because you did that, by the way. You're not. You actually just cut yourself out of the equation. My thing is, if a kid far outperforms his value at Queens, we're going to help him get that opportunity. And I've done that for multiple kids, and our program has always done that. We're a players first program. We want them to have the best experience possible.
I imagine for a school like Queens and really the entire ASUN and everything else, it's about finding the diamonds in the rough, right? And then you polish them up, and sometimes they'll stick around and you get that benefit.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they shine somewhere else. But it's interesting for you being in the state of North Carolina. I think you're the 18th different school to make the NCAA tournament from the state. And I don't even know, it might be 18th and 19th because there's some connection with Elon going on with Queens that I don't know how that all works. Mergers or whatever.
And Elon's our close friend. We're stronger together, but they have not made the tournament yet.
Okay, I'm with that. I didn't know if they were trying to piggyback off of what you were doing.
No chance.
But still, I mean, 18, 19, whatever it is, that's a ton. Are there diamonds in the rough in the state of North Carolina? I feel like there's a lot of miners out there looking for those diamonds.
Absolutely. I think we've got 2 coming in next year.
Okay.
And my biggest thing is, yes, that's going to be, as a small school, that's our job to find those. Everyone thinks recruiting is just signing deals. No, it's evaluating. Who can you develop, and how do you get them to become great players? Queens, in my 13 years at Queens, we've had 39 players sign pro contracts. Amazing. Amazing. And we're going to continue to develop kids like that.
Where does the transfer portal play into a school like Queens' plans? As far as acquisition, rather than we're talking about retaining and trying to keep guys.
Last year, we were able to sign 3 Division I experienced bigs. We got a kid from Cal Berkeley, a kid from Georgia Southern, a kid from Valparaiso. This year, I'm not sure that we'll take 3, but you don't know, But each year is a little different. But because we were tournament eligible, it was our first year tournament eligible, and we made it. Thanks, Elon. Because we were tournament eligible, those kids wanted to come to Queens this year.
Coach, we appreciate your time, and my brother went to Elon, so I'm going to play this for him 10 times.
Yes.
And I'm going to make sure he's aware.
We're stronger together, but we still went first.
There you go. Coach, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Once again, Grant Leonard, head coach at Queens. And, I will play that for my brother.
I respect that, by the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I respect that.
If you win and you make it, you get to decide who gets to benefit off of it. And they won, they made it, and obviously big win for Queens this year. With that being said, we are here in Indianapolis, the location for the Final Four, where all of the news is happening as part of our lead up to the Final Four, and it's sponsored in part by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Our appearance here. Liberty Mutual customizes your auto and home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Liberty Mutual. Also, while we're here in Indianapolis, I understand we are going to be focused a lot on college basketball and the Final Four and the coaching news and everything else. But the Canes were able to get a pretty good win last night.
Let's go.
5-1 win over Columbus.
Officially a playoff team.
Clinched the playoff spot. Power play stayed hot. Shout out to Svetch. Logan Stankoven scored a couple. And those are just a few of the details. For all of the details, here's our very own Adam Gold with 2 minutes of gold.
I got 2 minutes for 2 goals from number 22 that staked Carolina to a lead as they clinched a playoff spot last night against Columbus, and it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Carolina didn't waste any time. 2.5 minutes in, Jackson Blake made a great play to rim the puck around. Keandre Miller got it to the net quickly, and magic.
Stankoven was out front. Miller with the accurate throw, and Logan Stankoven with the redirect puts Carolina up 1-0.
About 6.5 minutes later, Blake did it again. Stankoven in front, in the right place at the right time.
Now for ball, and they score! Give it to Stankoven with the tip in second of the period.
It was 2-0. We were done. Carolina owned the game last night. They were awesome in the first period, maybe the best first period they have played all year. Weren't as good the rest of the way. They certainly weren't as good offensively the rest of the way. Defensively, I thought the blue line was spectacular. I mean, Columbus only had 10 shots in a game they really had to have. 10 shots on goal in a game that they had to have. And when it's all said and done, we know where Carolina's headed.
15 seconds left. Get ready. You're heading back to the postseason for the 8th consecutive year.
Now, there will be time to be one of those people who says, if we don't go to the Stanley Cup Finals, it's a failure. There'll be time for that because this team could end up in the Stanley Cup Finals. There's no question about it. Today, however, is a time to be thrilled that your hockey team is one of those hockey teams that is in the playoffs every year. If you think it's easy to make the playoffs, you are sadly mistaken. There are rosters that are just as good as Carolina's that don't get there year over year over year. Look at the teams that are going to miss this year. They have star power that even Carolina doesn't have. What Carolina has is a work ethic and a head coach that demands accountability, and it puts this team in position to win every single year. The Stanley Cup Finals, that's where we all want to see this team end up. Take our shot there. Tonight, let's celebrate an 8th straight playoff season. Parkway Sleep Health Center, sound sleep, sound health, sound off for late April hockey again.
Thank you very much to Adam Gold for 2 minutes of gold from back home in Carolina. I'm Tim Donnelly here in Indianapolis, where obviously the Final Four, big news, right? The game's tomorrow. There's a couple of 1 seeds, Arizona, Michigan battling it out. But prior to that, a 3 and 2 seed, Illinois and UConn. But the news that shook today, right, the day before the game, is that Tommy Lloyd of Arizona has agreed to an extension with Arizona, their head coach, which means for all intents and purposes, he will not be taking the Carolina job, which remains open. There was some reporting done by Matt Norlander of CBS Sports that Carolina had offered to make Tommy Lloyd the second highest paid coach in college basketball. Brendan Marks, who covers Carolina and college basketball for The Athletic, has tweeted out to clarify, per his source, UNC never actually offered Tommy Lloyd the job, but yes, financial discussions between parties indicated UNC was willing to make Lloyd one of the highest paid coaches in America. I think it's likely semantics, right? If I'm just reading between the lines here, probably one of those offers where it's like, if you accept, it's an offer. If not, it's not an offer, right? It's you know, if you're going to say yes, this is what we would give you. If you're going to say no, this offer never happened. So are you saying yes or are you saying no is kind of how I look at it. We'll see how it plays out, okay? Missing out on your top target doesn't mean you don't have other good targets. And I'm not even saying Tommy Lloyd was definitely their top target. But it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel. That's all I'll say. I want to see who they hire before we actually get there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, from here in Indianapolis, Radio Row for the Final Four. We'll be back. And up next, we're going to talk to a head men's basketball coach from what many would think is a football school. That is where we're going to shoehorn in football at 4. We talked to Luke Loucks, the head coach of Florida State men's basketball, for a conversation about Florida State, but really the ACC at large. Stick around.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Now for just $5, get a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, hash browns, and small premium roast coffee. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
When your check engine light comes on, do you see a repair bill or do you see peace of mind? For 20 years, CarShield's been the name America trusts to help keep you on the road. While other companies stop covering you when your car gets older, CarShield offers protection plans up to 200,000 miles. With over $1 billion in claims paid, we don't just promise protection, we deliver it. Don't let a breakdown break your budget. Get the flexible month-to-month coverage you deserve. Go to carshield.com. That's carshield.com today.
The North Carolina Courage are back home Saturday, April 4th. Kickoffs at 6:30 as they face the Portland Thorns. Bring the family early for Fan Fest, games, inflatables, and fun for all ages. It's Go Green Night too. No ticket fees ever. Get your seats now at tickets.nccourage.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! The Canes light the lamp here. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Highs this afternoon will reach the low to mid 80s. We'll have partly cloudy skies with some brief showers possible. We'll be back in the low to mid 80s on Saturday before showers and storms are likely ahead of our next cold front that arrives Easter Sunday.
4 o'clock check of your money. Markets closed today for Good Friday. Finished down. Dow Jones finished down 61 points to 46,504 yesterday. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan continues coverage from the Final Four Radio Row in Indianapolis, thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. Sitting down with us now is the head coach of Florida State men's basketball, Luke Loucks, coming off his first year. Dramatic midseason turnaround and a lot of momentum going into the offseason for you, Coach. But first, Justin Gainey hired at NC State. Jerry McNamara hired at Syracuse. Yourself, your old competitor John Shire, already. It's got to be a former player, and you got to be like a kind of heady guard in order to play or coach in the ACC.
No, I love the hires, man. Mac going back to Syracuse to me was a no-brainer. I mean, he's going to revitalize that fan base and get the financial support and obviously having Carmelo sit courtside every game, like that is a gold mine. And watching what he's done in his career, he's earned it. You know, everyone talks about like, you played there. No, these guys, like Gainey too, like he's done such an incredible job with Rick Barnes, especially on the defensive end. Like these guys have earned their positions. But what a cool opportunity for the fan base to come back. And I've experienced it going back to Tallahassee. My wife was a student athlete at Florida State. It truly means a little bit more than just being the head coach, which in itself, we're so excited to wake up every day and get to do your dream job. And it's really not even a job. It's hard work, but it's not a job. But to go out in the community and have real relationships with your fans, have real relationships with restaurant owners, and you walk into Whole Foods and everyone is like, you remember that as a student athlete, and to come back now with family, with kids, it is so rewarding beyond just trying to turn the program around and win games.
Does it? I'm sure it does, but how does it, when it comes to like the fundraising and everything, knowing that you care about the same things and you've gone through some of the same experiences that alumni have gone through? It's
certainly helpful. And to be honest, a lot of the people that I have dinners and lunches and everything else and functions and speech, I know a lot of these people on a human level, and so it's easier to go ask them for help than just kind of have your hat out and be like, hey, we need money, you know, and that's the reality that we're all going through. I also think for them, it's nice to have equity and get behind someone, you know, and that, to me, that relationship side of it is so important, and really in everything you do, as you build the program, as you build the fan base, as you build funds, all of it is meaningful to have those real authentic relationships.
So that's the serious part of it. The more fun part is, if we get a one-on-one ACC coaches tournament going, like how's that going to turn out? Because you're all, I mean, if you're going to be ballers, that never leaves your blood.
And Jay Lucas can play a little. Yep. We got some young guys that were like serious level hoopers. I would always bet on myself. It would be absurd to not have confidence of and I'm the youngest. I got some years still left in the tank. I think I'm still the youngest in power forward, but I'm certainly the youngest in the ACC as the head coach. But there's a lot of good players, man. Shire was I had to match up with Shire in those Duke games. He would give me buckets all over the place. Gainey's obviously had a great career. GMAC, is he the all-time leading scorer at Syracuse? He's got to be up there. 2,000 points.
Got to hold some kind of record.
I was a bad player compared to those guys. I would just happen to be on good teams. But yeah, and one-on-one was never my specialty. I would foul my behind off. No easy buckets. You got to shoot the J, man.
Luke Loucks, Florida State head men's basketball coach, connected with us here in Indianapolis. You mentioned that you did match up with Shire back in the day. As a coach, you gave them everything they could handle twice this year, including in the ACC tournament. So maybe with that angle, what were you thinking watching that second half against UConn?
Yeah, wasn't quite enough in either game, but we did play them well. I mean, to be picked 18th in the conference in year one and go toe-to-toe with the number one team in the country. I'm not a big believer in moral victories, but it was certainly good for our program to show what we're trying to build and the style of play. Man, I had so much respect for John even before, and we're buddies, but after coaching against him, and he's got some guys on staff that I know pretty well too, but after coaching against him, I have so much more respect. It was fun. It was like a chess match, you know. We would adjust and they would adjust, and that back and forth is, to me, what makes coaching fun. To live on, like, okay, we see what they're doing and we're going to counter it. You don't always get that from opposing coaches. Some coaches are like, we're black and white. We're doing this every possession. There's no adjustments. But for some of the younger coaches, it is truly a game of chess out there. And watching that game, obviously unfortunate for Duke, but what a comeback for Hurley and his young men. I mean, they put the pedal to the floor in that second half, and they were tough and physical. And then to just watch how it unfolded down the stretch. Obviously, everyone can be armchair quarterback, and hindsight's always 20/20. There's certainly a lot of mistakes that were made, but two great teams competing till the last shot. And to me, that's what makes this tournament special, man. Those shots go in, and the whole room stops. We were texting. I was on the road, trying to raise some money.
There you go.
And I was sitting in my hotel lobby. And as the game got closer and closer, I'm sitting there, you know, with my meal, and it felt like a crowd of 100 people was just, and that shot went in, and the whole place went nuts. It went berserk. And obviously I feel bad for John, but again, what a great run for her. 3 Final Fours in 4 seasons. I mean, that is almost near impossible. And go ahead.
So you've mentioned, no moral victories, but this season, obviously some good things happened. How do you build off of that, right? The portal opens in 3-4 days, whatever it is. How do you keep that second half momentum and those close losses and turn them into success for your program?
Yeah, we're I feel like a decade ahead of where we were last year at this time. I was underwater. I mean, I was trying to hire a staff. I was trying to learn the college game. I was trying to fundraise. There wasn't enough hours in the day. And there's still not, but there's certainly now a proof of concept of what we're trying to build. And it's been so helpful in terms of fundraising, in terms of just agents realizing the style of play. What we were telling them last year of like, hey, we're going to play this way. We're going to do this. Your guys are going to look good in this. Now they've seen it, and they've seen the progression. They've seen the development, not only in our players, but our team over the course of the season. To be where we were at some really low points at the season as we got our feet under us, and we got a lot of low and mid-major guys transferring up to the ACC and up to power basketball. Those guys got better, and our team got better. And to me, outside of Duke, we were probably the hottest team in the ACC down the stretch. I think we won maybe 10 out of our last 12 or 13 games. And we felt like we had the confidence and belief that we could beat anyone. And that, to me, is what we want to continue to fill our program with, the right type of kids that obviously are talented, but they'll go out every day, every practice, every drill, and especially every game and scrap. And I think when you do that, when you have that style of the scrappiness on defense, I like to switch defenses up, keep the opponent on their toes, but then offensively set them free and score a lot of points, give them a lot of freedom, structure them with some organization, but let the guys' talent do talking for itself. And I think now we can use that going into the portal to hopefully replenish our team with 6 seniors going out.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Good luck this season.
Thank you so much.
Once again, that's Luke Loucks, Florida State head men's basketball coach from earlier today here on Radio Row in Indianapolis. Again, the drive is on the road in Indianapolis. In part thanks to TaxSlayer. Sponsored by TaxSlayer. Get the tax support you need, plus every tax break you deserve for your max refund guaranteed. Head to TaxSlayer.com to get started for free. File fearlessly. We still don't know who's going to be joining. Maybe UNC will add somebody that can jump in that one-on-one tournament with the other coaches.
I mean, there's some hoopers, like you said. There's some guys that can play.
Carolina might be potentially bringing in a guy in his 60s. If you're going Billy Donovan, might be going outside the box for somebody we haven't seen or heard about. I do want to make something clear about this Tommy Lloyd situation when it comes to Carolina. Tommy Lloyd appears to have, if not officially gotten very close to an offer from Carolina, turned them down, and turned it into more money at Arizona. I don't think it's embarrassing that Carolina was turned down by Tommy Lloyd if that's how it broke down, right? He is a coach at one of the, conservatively 10 best programs in the country. They're still playing in the Final Four. I guarantee you he has good vibes about his program right now, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to leave when you have those kind of vibes. But if Carolina did have all their eggs in that basket, that would be the issue, right? Because especially with a coach still coaching in the Final Four, things can change, right? He may have been super open. You can't just assume that's how it's going to end. You have to have your fallback plans, your plan Bs, your other guys that you are vetting constantly. So, there is a world where I look back on this hiring cycle and say it was a debacle. I'm not doing it yet because, quite frankly, it's not embarrassing to have a head coach of Arizona who's playing in the Final Four decide he wants to stay there when they offer him a bunch more money and he doesn't have to answer to the athletic director and they get more money for his staff and more NIL support. It's like if he wants to stay at Arizona, that makes sense. Now we just need to see if Carolina is prepared for what they would do if Tommy Lloyd says no, right? And is it a quick pivot to Dusty May? Is it a quick pivot to Billy Donovan? Is it a quick pivot to somebody who we don't even see coming?
Yeah, that's the thing I've been thinking about. Is like who's out there that we just haven't even said his name yet publicly. It's all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, this guy comes is it Charles Lee, the NBA coach? Like all of a sudden, wait a second,
NBA is an option.
Yeah,
could be a bunch.
Not saying it's Charles Lee, but just
could be a bunch of different NBA guys or guys with NBA experience. I don't know if the Bill Belichick situation helped or hurt that cause, right? Because they brought in a pro and they were the 33rd NFL team and all those things. If they still have confidence in that idea of pros operating better in the NIL space, maybe they do go to a pro experienced guy. I don't know if that's the move I would make, but it's a possibility. And if you're willing to pay as much as Matt Norlander of CBS Sports implied that Carolina is willing to pay, that can draw some people from the professional ranks.
Oh, easily.
which obviously recruiting is a downfall, but also you play a lot more games in the NBA. There's a lot more travel. There's a lot more of other stuff going on. So we'll see. Could be a quality of life conversation that they're going to have. Speaking of guys that have coached in both pro and college, PJ Carlesimo joins us next, or actually he joined us earlier today here in Indianapolis, and that conversation is coming your way next, and we'll for sure talk about the Carolina opening. Stick around.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and as the Carolina Hurricanes shoot for their 8th consecutive playoff appearance, that's right, 8 in a row, that's not the goal, I should remind you. The goal is being, as Rod Brindamore likes to say, the last team standing. What do they need? Who will get them there? You know where you can find the answers on every episode of the Canes Corner podcast, live on YouTube after games, and wherever you get your podcast. Rate, subscribe, like, share, tell your friends.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
When sleep isn't working, everything feels harder. Your health, your patience, your focus, even your relationships. I'm Megan Giggling with Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Too often, people are told to wait months or even years just to talk to a sleep specialist. But untreated sleep problems don't wait. At Parkway, care begins within weeks with home sleep studies and fast, coordinated support so people can move forward instead of staying stuck. Better sleep changes everything.
Parkway Sleep, your fastest path to better sleep. Start today at parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
This April, the party's in Cary as Abbey Road Tavern and Grill Cary celebrates 30 years of great food, drinks, and unforgettable nights. The 3-day anniversary bash starts Friday night, April 10th, with live music and beer reps handing out freebies. Saturday the 11th is an all-day outdoor party with local bands and a draft truck pouring cold ones. Wrap it up on Sunday the 12th with a hangover party featuring Totally Otis and killer drink specials all weekend long. All happening at Abbey Road Tavern and Grill in Cary. Details at abbeyroadnc.com.
Harry Douglas here. Let me ask you something. What if you can enjoy the taste of a cocktail, the warmth of a spirit, and still stay fully in control? That's RK Zero Proof, a pioneer in the alcohol-free spirits category. RK delivers bold flavor and a real warming sensation with 0 alcohol, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and 0 calories. Perfect for nights out, social gatherings, or anytime you want the experience of a drink without sacrificing tomorrow. Check it out at rkbeverages.com. That's ARKAY beverages.com. RK. All the flavor, none of the alcohol.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Dennis, do we want to switch this up and get Coach Carlesimo on right now? I just got the thumbs up.
Yeah, let's bring on PJ Carlesimo.
PJ Carlesimo joins us now here in Indianapolis at our tournament tailgate. Don't want to keep this guy waiting. So as he sits down, I remind you that he's a longtime head coach in both college and pro. Member of the you don't have to put the headset on. You can hear me fine, right? Also, the Dream Team assistant coach. His resume is quite impressive. So, Coach, we're appreciating you for stopping by.
I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. And you got to also put, because I know your listeners, a good friend of Mickey Krzyzewski. So, and her husband a little bit, but definitely more so Mickey for sure.
Everyone will appreciate the appropriate title for Coach Krzyzewski, which would be Mickey's husband.
That's exactly what he is.
Well, let's talk about that job then. Jon Scheyer obviously going. You don't want to say going through it because he's being ultra successful, but he's starting to have a couple of those rough endings to his NCAA tournament. If Coach Krzyzewski hits you up, Mickey Krzyzewski hits you up and says, "Hey, can you give Jon some words of advice?" What are you telling him?
Just go back and look at Mike's first couple years at Duke. Look at but not first couple, probably my first 20 years coaching. And the job that Jon Scheyer has done replacing an irreplaceable person. Mike's beyond a legend. He's arguably the best college coach we've ever had. So to step into that situation, even though he played there and he certainly knew it as well or better than anybody else who could have succeeded Mike, I think John's done an incredible job. I do think that all good things will continue to follow. Just at this level, and I hate to reference it because fortunately for me, Mike and I only played twice in the NCAA. We were such good friends, and we never went against each other that much. But he got us before, because I listened to every Westwood game starts with the description. And I got to ask somebody when I get done. It's not Kaywood Ledford, but it's a legendary broadcaster, and it's Grant Hill's pass to Christian and catches it and turns. Well, the 2 days before that, Duke took us out when Bobby Hurley was the starting point guard for Duke, and Danny Hurley was our starting point guard. That was the one that Duke got, and we were lucky enough in '89 in the semifinals to get one. We had Duke had an 18-point lead against us in the national semifinals. From that point on, Mike won, what did he win, 10 or 15 or 20? I don't even know how many national championships, how many Final Fours he did. So just get off Jon Scheyer's back. Jon Scheyer's not doing a good job. He's doing a great job, and good things are going to follow. And when you get to this level, unfortunately, by that I mean this deep in the NCAA tournament, those other teams are so good, things can get out of hand. They really can, and it's not that unusual to see those kind of turnarounds, unfortunately. And I know that the fans in Duke don't want to hear that. They were hoping to be in their normal place, which they consider, it's like a birthright for them to be in the Final Four. But John was there last year, and how close did he come to getting it done last year? So Jon Scheyer's going to get it done.
They remember it like you do, though. They remember it as Coach K has 15 national championships, and that's what Jon Scheyer is up against.
Exactly.
When in actuality, it's
I
5.
love John, but Mike and Mickey be the first to tell you that that job is such a difficult job, and he's doing such a great job, particularly when you look at the turnover that they have year in and year. The elite teams, the turnover they have. That's why when you see what a Jon Scheyer does or what a Danny Hurley does, you just shake your hand and go, how do they do this? It's hard to believe.
We're talking with PJ Carlesimo here at the Final Four Radio Row in Indianapolis. You brought up Danny Hurley a few times, right? Guy that you knew way back when. Did you see this happening? Were there the signs?
No, I'd be lying if I told you. Am I surprised Danny went into coaching? No, of course not.
Okay.
I mean, the pedigree is ridiculous. His father, arguably the best high school coach of all time, in the Hall of Fame, won so many New Jersey championships, national championships, and the players that he's had, Bobby Hurley Jr., probably number one among those great players. We were lucky enough to have Danny and Terry DeHare and Jerry Walker at our teams at Seton Hall. So no, I'm not surprised that Danny went into coaching and has been as good as he has. But I'd be lying if I said to you when I was coaching Danny, I said, well, he's going to want to coach. Really growing up in the ultra competitive family that he grew up in, and playing for a knucklehead like me in college, you'd almost say, like, why would you want to go into coaching? But Danny did, and he has been, from his days as an assistant at Rutgers, as a head coach that a lot of people forget, the dues that Danny played. I think he coached for 12 or 14 years as an assistant coach or as a high school coach. At St. Benedict's Prep, he did a great job. He started at Wagner, ironically, which is where I started my career back in 1976. Danny was really good at Wagner. He was really good at URI, and he's just knocked it out of the park at UConn. So he is truly one of the best coaches. You're starting to start saying all the time. I mean, no one's done what he's done in such a short period of time. But he's a great coach, and when you see the bloodlines, you can't be surprised.
In our neck of the woods, the looming over all of the college basketball talk is the Carolina job opening. As one of the few guys that has done the college and NBA thing, would you be surprised if a Billy Donovan elects to leave the NBA and go back to college to take the Carolina job?
Billy is a close friend who to show you what a bad recruiter I am, I let go to Providence rather than Seton Hall. He's from Long Island. He wasn't from Jersey, but I knew his late father, who was a great man. And our assistants did a good job. I did a bad job closing. Billy should have played at Seton Hall, not at Providence. But obviously he was a perfect fit, he and Rick Pitino at Providence. He's exceptional. I mean, the back-to-back championships, I think he and Danny are the last two to do that, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, yeah.
Billy at Florida. And if he wanted to, they couldn't get a better guy. I haven't had the Bulls this year. I usually see Billy a couple times a year. I haven't seen him during this regular season. If he wants to, they can't get a better guy. I just don't know whether Billy wants to get back into college, the college game now, even at a place as special as North Carolina.
Is Carolina special enough to lure one of these Final Four coaches away, whether it's Tommy Lloyd or Dusty May?
Well, I think you got to look at it for sure. It's not the same thing, but just happened that the Kentucky job was open in '89 after our great run at Seton Hall, and I was not looking to leave Seton Hall, to be honest with you, because they had stuck by us through some really tough years. And Rick Pitino ended up going there. It was one of the best hires C.M. Newton ever made when he was the athletic director at Kentucky. I think when you're at that kind of school, and Duke and Carolina are obviously in that category, you have to look at the best people available. So does that include Tommy Lloyd and Dusty? Yeah, but I have no idea, A, whether they have outs in their contract, and B, whether there's any love, because they're at two pretty good jobs themselves right now.
Those are definitely two of the better ones.
Yep.
Looking at this weekend, speaking of the Final Four, I look at Illinois' roster, and in a weird way, it reminds me of some of the Spurs teams that you were on the staff for, because they grabbed this guy from Puerto Rico, this guy from Serbia. Is it how difficult is it to get guys that literally don't even speak the same language at times, or didn't grow up speaking the same languages, to play at a high level in short order, good enough to make the Final Four?
I don't want to say it's easy, but it's not as difficult as you might think it would be, because basketball is such an international game now, and I'd like to think that us at Seton Hall, we had Andrew Gage, we had Ramon Ramos, we had a slew of players from outside, Arturas Karnisovas. We had a slew of players that started for us at Seton Hall. We were a little ahead of the curve, but it was because we could go international and we could get guys, and other people weren't doing it at that time, so we had an edge. Illinois is doing it. The two best interviews we had in San Jose, and I happened to be with Arizona the first 2 weeks of the Westwood. We had Kevin Kugler in San Diego, and then with Ryan Radke in San Jose, were with Ivan Karchenko and with Anthony Del Orso. So we're doing interviews with Arizona players, and one's from Australia and one's from Germany. So I mean, you look at the teams that are here and the international players that are playing. I was lucky enough when we were at San Antonio. We had so many guys in San Antonio that were great. Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. We had two pretty good bigs in David Robinson, and TD actually was from the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we had incredible international players. No, it's actually embarrassing, because these guys, whether English is their second, third, or fourth line, I'll tell you, two guys I had at Seton Hall, Ramon Ramos, who had that horrible accident when he was a rookie at Portland, a 4-year starter for us at Seton Hall, and Arturas Karnisovas, who was the first player that started for 4 NCAA teams at Seton Hall from Lithuania. Both of them were the scholar athlete in the Big East Conference their senior year. So, I mean, it's embarrassing when you talk to these guys, and it's their second, third, or fourth language, and they speak English better than I speak English. So, no, it's the international game has gotten so good. You almost have to, I think, if you're at an elite level, you almost got to go find, because there are players there who can contribute to your program.
PJ Carlesimo joining us here on Radio Row. Before we let you go, have you made a pick? Have you decided which teams you like most in this Final Four?
No, I because I swear when I was coaching, I didn't know what was going to happen with my team, so I certainly don't know what's going to. And this Final Four, last Final Four we had the 4 number ones. We thought it was incredible. I don't know that we've had better matchups than we have, this year. Three of them, Arizona, Michigan, and Illinois, are beating teams by double digits. And this stat I keep hearing about Seton Hall's, or excuse me, about I'm calling Danny's team.
Danny, that
Seton
makes
Hall.
sense. That's your guy.
About UConn, they said, well, they're only plus 22 for the tournament. They've only won by a total of 22 points. They're in the Final Four for the third time in 4 years. They've only won by 22 points.
Yeah,
These
apologize
other guys,
that it was a close game against Duke.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't count them out either. I think these games are going to be great games. I hope it lives up to the billing because there's 4 exceptional teams, and there's 3 of them are 3 of the most unbelievable rebounding teams I've seen in college basketball in a long time. They're so big and they're so physical, the 2 from the Big Ten, Illinois and Michigan, and, of course, Arizona.
Coach, we appreciate you for taking the time to chop it up with us. That was really
Tim,
fun.
great being with you. Thank you.
Once again, that is PJ Carlesimo, longtime NBA coach, college coach, dream team assistant. The stories there could go on forever and ever. I really could sit around with Coach Carlesimo and just get stories for a couple of hours at least. And he gave us some insight into how the team, he didn't really make a pick, but how the team that wins might end up cutting down the nets. Right, rebounding, versatility, all those things. But I can tell you exactly how, in a different sense, a team will be cutting down the nets, and that's because they're going to be climbing a Warner ladder. Our ability to be here in Indianapolis for Radio Row is in part sponsored by Warner, the official ladder of NCAA March Madness and the official ladder of construction professionals everywhere. Conquer new heights with Warner, available locally at Associated Scaffolding. We had a fun time with the official ladder of cutting down nets throughout our trip here in Indianapolis. Now we're going to have a fun time with our conversation from earlier with the head coach of Notre Dame men's basketball, Micah Shrewsberry. He stopped by our table earlier. This is what it sounded like. This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, continuing from Indianapolis. Radio Row at the Final Four, thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, go ahead and call to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. Joining us here on Radio Row, another ACC head men's basketball coach, Micah Shrewsberry from Notre Dame, joining us. Coach, and I'm going to use you as like a representative of the state of Indiana, right?
Yeah.
You're Indianapolis,
That's right.
your history, Notre Dame. We got off the airplane in the airport. Big sign says, in 49 states, it's just basketball.
Yeah.
This is Indiana. We come from North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to tell us that we're just one of those 49? Is that what's going on here? The state of Indiana is looking down on us as a basketball state?
Yeah, you know what? It's as I'm in the ACC, but also even when I was coaching here in Indiana, I came to realize that North Carolina is a huge basketball state, right? And in the same way, I can't change Indiana's slogan, all right? Like, I guess there's ways that like all coaches get grouped together.
Yeah.
Like Indiana just groups all the other states together, but North Carolina is as good as anywhere else from the high school ranks up because produces good players that go to college, in-state, out-of-state, whatever. And then obviously the college teams are holding their own.
So, all right, we'll let it slide. I think that was a
We'll
good
go
explanation
48
there.
states.
Yeah, exactly. just don't group us with like Vermont or something. I don't know. Just put tears on that list. We're talking with Micah Shrewsberry, head coach of Notre Dame. The head coach meetings going on, right? And everybody's getting together. This is one of those cool events where coaches kind of get to chat, not just in the post-game handshake line.
Mm-hmm.
What are the things of college basketball that everybody's kind of buzzing about?
Yeah, it's especially interesting now, right, with the transfer portal that opens the day after the championship game. And, there's been some movement. The date has moved. The time has moved. The amount of time that it's open has changed. But some of the people still involved are still there, right? And that's one of the things that we're trying to see if we can do is the amount of people that are involved in these decisions. But it's something our game, it's been happening nonstop, right? There's always been bad actors involved. As much as we can, trying to get the bad actors out to keep the game as pure as possible, right? Because the product on the court was as good as it could have been. This year was unbelievable with how good the freshmen were, the international guys, older guys that were still there. Like the product on the court is really good. But then when the game ends on Monday, all the attention turns to the chaos again, right? Let's keep it on the good stuff. Let's continue to celebrate the good stuff.
Is there a right way to have the portal without some of that chaos? Because it does seem like it seems like almost a necessary evil at this point, right? Like the player movement is going to happen. I just don't know, like, when on the calendar should it open up, and how do you get, we talk to coaches all week here. We say, like, oh, the portal opens on the 7th, and they're like, it's open. It's happening already. Is there a way you can actually stop that, or do you just kind of have to, if everybody's doing it, you got to jump in that water?
Yeah, I think as we continue to progress forward, like I said, trying to get some of the bad actors out that are taking advantage of, think of a mid-major school that's playing, they're going and playing NC State, right? And it's on TV, and some kid from that school scores 25 points. That kid doesn't even get to enjoy the rest of his season with his teammates, because now everybody's trying to, hey, I can help you get to that level right away, right? Let's let these kids enjoy that. Let's let them have that year with their teammates. And same thing at all levels, right? Like I said it, in one of our meetings the other day, like, we're a feeder program too here at Notre Dame, right? Right now it's turned into the haves and the have-nots. And if you're a have-not, you're just feeding the haves. But let's enjoy the entire season before we start to feed the haves.
Is that something you talk with your players about, saying, like, I don't know, like, turn down the call if it comes in the middle of the year, and then, I don't know, you'll have the conversation now at a different point in time? Like, how maybe on the out and open are the players about it? Like, do you even know these conversations are happening with your guys?
It's not so much of the players really talking about it. Okay. They'll talk about it after the fact, but you just know it's happening, right? Yeah. The agents that they have are out there, and they're, hey, this kid could be available. What could his market be, right? And like in December, right? I said, that's the hard part.
It's a great question. And it's something that I've been trying to track. Like, a good wing in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
What is that worth? Like, how much is really on the line for these players?
Yeah. For really good wings, it's millions of dollars, right? Which is, you think about life-changing money, right? Like, I worked for 40-something years of my life before I was able to see what that looked like. And some people never will and never have. And now these are 18 to 22-year-old, sometimes a little bit older kids that get a chance to, like, experience that at a young age. Like, you want to take advantage of that. That's why we go to college, is to set ourselves up for our future. So I don't blame the kids at all, right? Because this is something that why they're in college is to help themselves better their lives. It's just the people that know they're going to better their lives that are taking advantage of them, right? Like, hey, am I going to take advantage of a kid? No, I want them to make the best situation possible. Like, when you recruit them, you tell them you're going to help them to be the best that they can be, put them in the right situations, look out for them, everything else. Like, yeah, selfishly, I want them to stay at our school, but are they getting a chance to better themselves and do that? Yes. Now let's make sure it's the right decision so you can continue that. So it's not just a one-time thing, and now you burn through that money, and now, you have nothing to show for it at the end.
Coach, we appreciate you for taking the time and giving us some insight. That was great.
Yeah, thank you guys.
How about that from Micah Shrewsberry, calling Notre Dame basketball a bit of a feeder program?
Yeah.
That is, I don't know, it's just crazy to hear a brand like that going, yeah, you know what, if we have the haves and the have-nots, we might be on the have-not side of things rather than the haves. Micah Shrewsberry, head coach of Notre Dame, we appreciate the time. Up next, this one is a bit more personal for me. I don't have a personal connection to Notre Dame, but I do have a personal connection to the University of Hawaii. Eran Ganot is the head coach of Hawaii. I fell in love with sports out there when I was growing up in Hawaii, and so I did some reminiscing and also spoke to one of their assistant coaches from Raleigh earlier today. Before we get to that, though, do want to remind everybody that our coverage here in Indianapolis is in part sponsored by Wrangler. Here's to the early risers, the go-getters. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles to kickstart your day. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Now, our conversation from earlier with a couple of coaches from the University of Hawaii. Stick around. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan is in Indianapolis, thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. We are here for the Final Four Radio Row, and we get to have a little throwback moment for me. As you know, if you listen to the show often enough, I grew up in Hawaii, and we have the Hawaii head coach and an assistant coach with us, Eran Ganot. I practiced it. I wrote it down. I was going to do better than that. And also one of his assistants, Juan Munoz. Coach, you have a Raleigh guy on your staff. So you're talking to Juan's people. What do you want everybody to know about the job Juan's doing out there on Manoa campus?
Oh, you set me up for that one. Juan, and now he's going to get – we got to keep him humble. No, Juan played for us. Mm-hmm. He's one of the great stories, I think, in the country over the last decade or so. He came back. He had he went to Longwood. Played for us. Believe it or not, he played 8 years in college basketball. He had 4 season-ending surgeries, 3 ACLs, 1 Achilles, was a captain for us on a 20-win team, and his last year, scored about 11 a game, shot 40% from 3 after all that. So he's an incredible story as a player. He's now starting his career as a coach, and he's done a great job for us, obviously helping us win a conference championship.
So from Raleigh to Hawaii,
yeah.
You didn't want to come home, pass along all that knowledge that Coach just said you acquired. You didn't want to pass that along. You want to stay out there on the islands.
I mean, Hawaii's a special place. You're from there, so you understand that.
Oh yeah.
And once you're there, it's kind of hard to leave. So that was kind of my mindset with everything. So
okay. So let's talk about a little basketball then. You make it back to the NCAA tournament this year. Juan's first year.
Yeah.
So hey, there's the connection there. But you win the Big West. How do you build off of that and make it something that happens more often?
Well, it's an exciting time. I mean, I always say both can be true. We're very appreciative of our time in the Big West, and we're also excited to move into the Mountain West. It's one of the rare realignment opportunities where we're actually rekindling old rivalries, whereas other people are going blind. Obviously, our football team has been in the Mountain West. When I was an assistant before for Riley Walsh, our league had Utah State, Nevada, Boise, Fresno.
That's the old whack that I used to grow up watching.
Exactly. And so we're actually, with some of the schools currently in the Mountain West. And, last year we had a really good class coming off one of our rare down years. And now we're coming off an incredible year and going into the Mountain West. So it's exciting. We can feel the uptick in recruiting. The power of the Hawaii fan base is rocking and fired up. And so obviously we got a lot of work to do, but we're really excited for the challenge.
Now, we've talked to a lot of coaches this week, and the NABC, the convention's happening, so everyone's kind of talking big picture, NIL, transfer portal, all of the challenges. At UH, does like NIL include like tickets for mom and dad? Like do you have like I don't know, Hawaiian Airlines? Is like how do you maybe overcome some of the obstacles that are unique to your school?
Well, I think one of the great things, like you said, is Hawaii is really special.
Mm-hmm.
We're very calculated in who we bring in, whether it's staff or players. And also people who appreciate Hawaii. And so, as you know, it's the greatest place in the world. I always say the weather's the second best part. It's the people, it's the culture, it's the spirituality. So we do it, like you said, in the aggregate, all-encompassing. Obviously, we're working on the rev share and the NIL, but we are people talk about it's the pro team, but we also don't have a Division I team. So you can feel like when we travel, when our teams do well. So there are different opportunities that are really enticing for others.
All right, while I have you here, and we're talking with Coach Ganot from the University of Hawaii and one of his assistants, Juan Munoz, a local Raleigh guy. We were talking just off air. You guys kind of have a pipeline from our neck of the woods out to Hawaii. So I guess, Juan, I'll use you since you've made the transition. Mm-hmm. What would you tell someone in the area that's going to have to go stay out there in Hawaii?
I mean, it's a special place. I mean, going from North Carolina to Hawaii was a bit of a shock at first, but I think they took me in like family. And then from a hoops aspect, it's great basketball. You're learning from a great staff. It's very sport dominant in Hawaii, so they want to see you do well. And when you are doing well, the crowd is with you and they're rocking every night. So
all right, now I'm going to get selfish and use you guys just to get some nostalgia out of the way from me. Timmy Chang. Now this maybe shows my age a little bit. I fell in love with football watching June Jones and Timmy Chang and that offense that absolutely captivated the entire state. What's your relationship like with the old football coach coming back, trying to bring those vibes back?
We're really close, and we joke with Timmy. He's a basketball guy. He loves hoops. He's at our games.
Went to St. Louis, but we'll be okay with that.
No, we have a really good relationship. We support each other. The coaches support each other. The student athletes support each other. You talk about Mike Alejado. He was at our conference tournament games, courtside, fired up, and we all go through the ups and downs together. It's made us all really close, so really happy for their success. And before I let Juan add anything, I just want to also say that Juan was the start of the pipeline for North Carolina.
Okay.
He was an all-conference player, led to Justin McCoy was an all-conference player, and then Dre Bullock this year, all-conference player. So we've done pretty well with North Carolina, and obviously he was the start of that.
So even though we're in Indiana, we all acknowledge North Carolina, the hoop state,
Hoop
right?
state, for sure.
I don't know how that got to that, but we'll roll with it.
I try to tell him that. He's a Jersey guy, and he's always talking about Jersey basketball, but I'm telling him North Carolina.
I spent some time in Jersey, and I appreciate it.
I could tell. I could feel the toughness.
There you go. That's funny. We're going body surfing, Sandy's or Makapu?
Well, Sandy's is kind of dangerous, so I'm going Makapu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, little.
Yeah.
He's not from Jersey.
Yeah. Jersey Shore, baby.
There you go. Fellas, we appreciate you stopping by and chatting with us. This was fun for me, and good luck this season.
Thank you. Appreciate you having us on.
Cool.
Thank you.
Once again, that is the group from the University of Hawaii, Coach Ganot there, letting me get some nostalgia out of the way. By the way, I was a Sandy Beach guy growing up, and you heard him say it was dangerous. I think, guess I'm just, a little bit better of a body surfer. I don't know.
Maybe
out there. That was our spot.
You're born into it.
There you go. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will continue from here in Indianapolis. Our coverage from Radio Row at the Final Four. But before we can move on, Dennis, you have something you want to tell the people?
I do. Dennis Cox here, real quick, for my friends over at Law Tigers. I'm excited to get back home, hop on the motorcycle, enjoy the wonderful weather this weekend. Something that I always keep in mind as a motorcycle rider is that believe it or not, it's the constant changing weather patterns that we have. And it's not just, is it going to rain, yes or no? Is it going to be cold, yes or no? Believe it or not, wind conditions actually can really impact you as a motorcycle rider, because obviously that impacts you in terms of physically riding into wind or against the wind, but also crosswinds can also maybe make your bike a little bit unstable as well. So all things you have to keep in mind before you get out there on the road. Always be prepared, always be safe, always have an out as well. If all of a sudden the weather turns bad, do you know a parking deck that you can turn into? Is there an underpass that you can park underneath for bad weather to get away? All things to keep in mind. And if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, always have in mind 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Give Law Tigers a call even before you contact the insurance company, because guess what? Insurance companies, folks, they're not really there to work for you. They're there to give you the least amount possible. Whereas Law Tigers, their attorneys, they're part of the motorcycle riding community. They know what your bike is worth. They know what your gear is worth. But most importantly, they understand what it's like to go through an accident. That's why your case evaluation is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So give Law Tigers a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will continue from here in Indianapolis for Radio Row at the Final Four. And we're going to talk with another ACC head coach when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Everything that you can say about Aaron Judge, you can also in a lot of ways apply it to Bryce Harper, and you can absolutely apply it to Mike Trout. You have these guys who you think are going to be the one that is going to be the superstar that wins and wins consistently. And all of these guys haven't done it. All of those guys go into the what if category, and I think that's been detrimental to the game.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When your check engine light comes on, do you see a repair bill or do you see peace of mind? For 20 years, CarShield's been the name America trusts to help keep you on the road. While other companies stop covering you when your car gets older, CarShield offers protection plans up to 200,000 miles. With over $1 billion in claims paid, we don't just promise protection, we deliver it. Don't let a breakdown break your budget. Get the flexible month-to-month coverage you deserve. Go to CarShield.com. That's CarShield.com today.
It's April, and that means Briggs restaurants have gone Greek. Briggs has some incredible lamb specials this month, like the homemade lamb sausage patty stuffed with feta and fresh mint, lamb sausage Benedict, Briggs gyro, and more. This month only at Briggs.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK, and people ask me all the time, why did you go to Dr. Lori? 1, she's the best. 2, I need 20/20 vision, and now I've got it. I've gotten rid of the glasses and the contact and everything that goes along with it. And right now, Travers LASIK is honoring first responders with an exclusive LASIK savings for police officers, firefighters, and EMTs. Travers LASIK, 919-510-6830. TraversLASIK.com.
Oh, actually, we have the there we go. All right, we're getting some conversations here behind the scenes. We'll just go ahead and set this bad boy up. It's Mike Young from Virginia Tech, their head coach, and we talked to him earlier today. This is what that sounded like. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan is in Indianapolis, thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House. Call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. We're also in Indianapolis because it's the Final Four coming up, and we are at Radio Row. And joining us is another ACC head basketball coach, Mike Young from Virginia Tech. Coach, thank you for the time. We'll start with the conference big picture here. A Final Four without the ACC, it feels wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like what's the what do we got to do to get the conference back up to where it's been the last 5-6 years?
I think we're knocking on the door. I thought our league was really, really good. I was happy to see 8 teams. I wish there could have been 9, and we would have been that 9th. Duke was remarkable. UVA was very, very good. North Carolina was very, very good. Losing Caleb Wilson was a terrible break, no pun intended. I thought our league had a great year. Yeah, the absence of an ACC representative in the Final Four is disheartening, but I don't think that it's cause for any great stir. What's wrong? What's going on? I think it's a one-off. This league is strong, getting stronger, and I look forward to what 26-27 holds.
You bring up the wish it could have been 9 and could have been you. Part of that conversation is net rankings and how the schedule impacts it. Is there, I don't know, something you're going to take away from this season or new information on how an ACC team should schedule, particularly in the non-conference?
Yeah, there is, and there's a lot of data and a lot of analytics to pour into, and we're pouring into it. A lot of that non-league schedule is already done. Maybe contracts aren't signed. We didn't have a blemish. We didn't have a quad 3, quad 4 loss. We had good wins. We won 4 in overtime, but we lost a couple that we needed to get at Wake Forest on a step back 3, at SMU on a made 3 at the buzzer from half court. Miami hit a step back 3 in the closing seconds. We needed to win a couple of those games, and we were right there, trying to get over the hump a year from now.
We're talking with Mike Young, Virginia Tech head basketball coach here in Indianapolis. Coach, your school's in a unique situation, and I'm curious because with rev share and NIL and everything, it's really never been like this. But James Franklin's bringing a lot of buzz to the football program, and I assume there's dollars and everything that are committed there. Is there as a basketball coach, do you see it kind of as, every dollar spent there is one less that a booster's given to us, or how do you handle kind of the politics on campus?
No, there's no handling politics on campus. NC State Dave Dorn, the Wolfpack needs for Dave to succeed. They need for football to do well, as does Coach Belichick at Chapel Hill. We need for James Franklin to succeed at Virginia Tech desperately. When you ride by that stadium every day and 65, 70,000 people, however many it holds, and those 7 Saturdays are gold, and they're winning, and their success, permeates through our department and makes it easier for Mike Young. So I don't look at it as, what football is doing in terms of spending, in terms of their budget and so on. I don't look at it like that. We've got ample ammunition to go into the spring and next fall with every opportunity to win. Our school, our community, Southwest Virginia, needs James Franklin and that football staff and that football team to win, and there's not a bigger fan and not a bigger proponent of their program in that region than Mike Young. I want to see them do well, and I'm thrilled that James is on our team.
I've covered Tech before your time, and Lane gets rocking. Castle gets rocking too, though.
Oh, it's nuts. It's nuts. Nothing like it. A lot of fun.
How many, I guess we should, I keep saying 5 because we started this conversation yesterday. 4 days till the portal opens up. If you're well stocked and ready, what's the plan?
It's a plan that's being formulated.
Okay.
And we're all in the same boat. I just talked to a North Carolina coach from the state of North Carolina, not a UNC coach. Obviously.
Yeah, we wouldn't know which.
It'd be hard to do. Talked to a coach from the state of North Carolina. There's a lot of good friends of mine running around out there that have 0 players on the roster right now.
Good.
It's going to be a free-for-all. It's going to be unhealthy. There's going to be mistakes made, but it's part of the job, and we'll get into it. And when the portal opens, the portal is already open. A lot of people's estimation, a lot of kids in there already, but the floodgates will open, and it'll be interesting to watch it play out over the next month, 6 weeks.
It's funny. We're talking with Mike Young, head coach Virginia Tech basketball. Just in talking basketball and talking ACC, it just kind of naturally comes up like it just did that Carolina doesn't have a coach. How much when everybody is kind of, like you mentioned, just catching up with old coaches at a convention like this, that opening in existence, how does that?
It's a great one. And I loved Hubert Davis. I consider Hubert a friend and admire him a lot as a basketball coach. Again, it's Chapel Hill. It's the Smith Center and everything that goes along with the tradition that we know and admire with that program. They're going to get a great coach. I have no idea who it's going to be. You don't have any idea who it's going to be. Nope. None of us do. But those in charge, those that have the responsibility of bringing the next coach to Chapel Hill, I know they'll get a great one, and we'll welcome that person and his staff into the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Coach, we appreciate you for taking the time, and thank you for the insight.
Appreciate you having me on. I wish you well.
Once again, that is Mike Young, the head coach of Virginia Tech basketball. Earlier today here in Indianapolis, as the coaches flock towards Indianapolis for the NABC, National Association of Basketball Coaches Conference, which is also going on the past couple of days. Our coverage here in Indianapolis is in part brought to you by Warner Ladder, sponsored by Warner Ladder, the official ladder of NCAA March Madness and the official ladder of construction professionals everywhere. Conquer new heights with Warner, available locally at Associated Scaffolding. And that is, I would say, what we learned from Mike Young there is the most true thing in the world, which is football needs to be good.
Yeah, I guess. Allegedly.
Football needs to be good. I've been on this train the last few years of basketball has to matter, and I still think it does, and I still think the teams that care the most about basketball can pour as many resources as they ever have into basketball. but it's going to become more and more and more difficult to run an athletic program that stays very, very lucrative if your football program isn't cranking at some level, right? You don't have to be in the national championship conversation every day, but you got to fill your stadium. You have to be respectful enough that you're making money there. And then you hope the money flows in both directions, both football and basketball.
I mean, Duke won a ACC championship in both football and men's basketball.
I think the fact that their football team is doing better and doing well under Manny Diaz is not hurting their basketball program.
No, definitely not.
I think it's probably helping their basketball program, if we're being real. There needs to be a little support there. With that being said, we have the starting five coming up next. We've been running interviews. We've been giving you insight from all of the newsmakers here in Indianapolis all day. But we do have the starting five coming up. And before we even get to that, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. I'm wearing a military-inspired watch on my wrist today, a hack watch for those of you that know. If you want to wear some of your personality or a bit of history on your wrist, Bailey's Fine Jewelry would be the place to do it. Whether you're looking for a pre-owned and vintage Rolex, an Omega, something like a Hamilton with some of that American military history. You're looking for a Norcane, something that's revolutionizing the style that you wear on your wrist currently and has a great connection with the NHL and NHL Players Association. There is something for everyone. It's one of my favorite parts about the watch game is as unique as you are, there's a watch out there for you. And Bailey's Fine Jewelry wants to put you in connection with that watch. So go ahead and check them out. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, specifically at their Village District location in Raleigh, where they have the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, the Omega Boutique, and much, much more. When you stop out at their Village District location in Raleigh, make sure they know you heard about it from me, Tim, right here on 99.9 The Fan. We will come back with the starting five, so don't go anywhere.
Listen for the Get That Out of Here's.
Rejected! Cameron Boozer got a piece! Get that out of there!
The deep looks from downtown.
McNeil walks up a three and connects left corner.
Did he just do that?
McNeil fires a three, got it far corner, falling down, it's a 2-point game!
The road to Indianapolis runs through 99.9 The Fan. Driven by Fast Park and Relax, Chapel Hill Tire and Roof Works.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Now for just $5, get a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, hash browns, and small premium roast coffee. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Think only current and former smokers get lung disease? Well, before you breathe a sigh of relief, WakeMed would like to remind you that even if you've never smoked in your life, secondhand smoke or environmental toxins can put you at risk. So go to wakemed.org and take our free online lung health assessment. It takes just a few minutes, and who knows, it could keep lung disease from taking your life.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped, opt out.
Hey man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
Just text them, see if you qualify. $750? Boom! And right now, they're offering a $75 bonus when you set up an eligible direct deposit.
Think I should call her back?
Yeah.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Hurry and receive an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Text BETTER to 323232. That's BETTER to 323232. BETTER to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by Fineco Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
The Canes light the lamp here. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. An isolated shower remains possible early tonight. Lows dip into the lower 60s. Saturday, high temperatures are back in the mid-80s under partly cloudy skies. Showers and storms return for Easter Sunday with highs in the mid-70s.
5 o'clock check of your money markets closed today for Good Friday, so Dow Jones remains at 46,504.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan is live from Indianapolis, and that is in part thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, go ahead and give them a call to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. Thank you to Carolina Ale House. This entire week has been, or this entire 2 days, feels like a week, has been awesome, and we're very thankful. Matter of fact, that's going to be part of our number 5. Number 5.
2, 3, 4,
There it is.
5.
All right, number 5 is the fact that we are here in Indianapolis for the Final Four. And it's been an interesting one. The irony is it's all turned this afternoon. If you would have brought up the fact earlier today that Carolina was looking for a head coach, and you would have been showered with almost like a ray of sunshine here because everybody was talking about it, and it seemed like Carolina had all the glitz and glamour. Tommy Lloyd, which we'll talk about, decides to sign an extension with Arizona, and now all of a sudden, UNC isn't the job everybody thought it was. And it just goes to show that even when you're amongst like the best basketball minds out there, right? The college conferences are going on, the college coaching conferences are going on, the analysts and everything are all around here. There is still just a reaction that comes when news breaks. Because I don't think, Tommy Lloyd electing to stay in Arizona has anything to do with the glitz or glamour of the Carolina job. It's still Carolina. Every coach we've talked to here has brought up some form of it's still Carolina. So it's a big deal. But from a Final Four perspective, it's just cool to be around here, right? It's just fun to be in the building. We've had a really fun time. The games will start up tomorrow. I guess we should, Dennis here. I don't know if we'll let's make our picks.
Oh yeah, so we should do that. I mean, I will say this though. Everyone that we talk to is like, we have an idea of who could win, but honestly, these matchups are so darn good that it's kind of hard to predict.
I've asked most of our guests. I try not to ask the actual like active coaches because I don't want to get them involved in any kind of making picks or betting. But any analyst we've talked to, any host, any play-by-play we've talked to, I give them the chance, like, hey, make your picks. Like, if you've done it already, make sure we know it. And almost everybody has kind of copped out with some form of like, oh, they're all really good. I like this team, but I also like this team and this team. So let's run through them. Number 3, Illinois versus number 2, UConn. That is the early game tomorrow. Which team do you like? I know which team I like.
I know you're going to go Illinois.
I am. I've been high on Illinois for the entire year.
You have, and I'll give you credit on that one. I'm going to say it's so hard to pick against Dan Hurley.
I agree.
So I will take UConn in this one. I don't feel comfortable with that. But also, if I would choose Illinois, I wouldn't feel comfortable because I would be picking against Dan Hurley in the Final Four.
To be completely honest, I think this is like my 3rd time picking against UConn in this tournament.
Yeah.
So it would be the first time that I've been wrong picking against Dan Hurley and feeling dumb after, going like I shouldn't pick against the guy with 2 of the last 3 national championships.
Yeah.
I really like Illinois. I think they're really deep. I think their size is impressive.
It's a good team.
Their guards can score lights out. Let's go to Michigan and Arizona. That is the later game. Obviously, these are, analytically the 2 best teams in the country and 2 best remaining, but they got to play each other. So only one survives. Who you got?
Well, I had Michigan in the national championship game, so I'm going to take Michigan.
I had Arizona in the national championship game.
There we go.
So I'm going to take Arizona. I think they're the most consistent. Michigan is I mean,
it's such a good matchup.
I was going to say, I'm going to feel like all the people that I just made fun of for taking a cop-out answer. I like them all. So you have UConn and Michigan in your finals.
Yeah.
Who wins the whole darn thing?
Give me UConn. I can't let the Big Ten win. I can't
All right,
pick
then I'm
the
taking
Big
Arizona.
Ten to
Then
win.
I'm taking Arizona. They are the team that I had in the final. I do like Illinois a lot, but I think the winner of Michigan-Arizona is going to be my pick on Monday when we make picks. I think that is the stronger side of the bracket, and Illinois and UConn are kind of playing for the right to be put in that wood chipper. So we'll see how that goes. That is number 5 in the starting 5. Let's jump to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
We have some awards. We didn't have a Dean's List earlier today, so to make sure we acknowledge our awards, the AP Player of the Year, Cameron Boozer from Duke. He is the Associated Press National Player of the Year, which I'm I am certain, feels a bit like a booby prize right now, but it is something that should be cherished eventually. With the way that Duke's season ended, I'm not sure if any of the awards would feel fantastic right now. By the way, the AP Coach of the Year went to Fred Hoiberg, the coach of Nebraska, and John Shire was one of the finalists for that, but he'll not take home the hardware. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this. In a one-and-done era, where the best players show up, 8 months later they're gone, or a year later they're gone, right? Depending on timelines and everything. If you don't make it to the national championship game, if you don't win the national championship game, it certainly feels like incomplete. But if you go back and look at it, how many great players didn't win their freshman year and then win their junior or senior year, and suddenly we treat them as if they're like big game college players, when in actuality they may have just had more swings at it, right? Cam Boozer, if he stays at Duke for 4 years, maybe he does win a national championship. Maybe he is a Final Four most outstanding player, but you don't get those chances anymore, right? The one and done era means you get one shot at it, and if you don't win, that's all you're going to get. And in that case, maybe you do look at something like an AP Player of the Year, not now, but 30 years from now, and go, you know what? Yeah, that was a pretty good 1 year for me at Duke. That was a pretty good 1 year for me in college basketball. And then you move on and try to do, your best at the next level. I think it's actually surprising that John Shire, assuming it was a regular season award, I think it's a little surprising that John Shire isn't the AP Coach of the Year, but it just goes to show how high expectations are for Duke. You replaced all 5 starters, came back, won more games and all of that from last year, and lost to the guy from Nebraska that got his team to what, a 3 seed, a 4 seed?
Yeah, 4 seed.
4 seed, and that guy ends up winning it over Shire. So he might never win. He might be one of the 5 best coaches every year in college basketball for 40 years and never win a National Coach of the Year from the AP if he's not winning this year.
I'm assuming it's just a regular season award, or are they factoring in the NCAA tournament, the AP award?
I thought it was a regular season award.
Because if you're factoring in the NCAA tournament, it's like, well, okay, Nebraska had never won an NCAA tournament game ever, which is just mind-blowing to think about, a power conference school that had never won an NCAA tournament game ever.
Program.
Yeah. And you are the show in the
not a good
whole
basketball
state.
program, but a good athletic program.
Yeah, but not even back in 1976, you never won a game? Come on. But
Stumble into one?
Yeah. VCU's got how many?
VCU's got
a bunch.
I mean,
Exactly.
Final Fours.
How many George Mason have? They won 5.
They won at least a Final Four.
Yeah. Or 4, whatever it was.
Nebraska's going, why are you doing this? Why are you being so mean to us? You
Facts
had a
are
good
facts.
season. And you've got the AP Coach of the Year, so take that to the bank.
Exactly.
That was number 4. Let's get to number 3. The transfer portal does not open until, 4 days from now, the 7th. And it might not even open then. Are you ready for this? Ross Dellinger who is a college football and college sports writer for Yahoo Sports and contributes to On3. Used to be on Sports Illustrated. He's bounced around a little bit, but a really good investigative national reporter is reporting that sources tell Yahoo Sports that President Donald Trump is issuing an executive order.
Huh.
Oh, wait, never mind. Now we're walking it back.
Oh, okay.
The executive order was intended to limit transfers and do a bunch of other things in college sports, and it was going to impact the transfer portal. But since I've seen the tweet, it's been updated. And Dellinger says Trump's executive order would be effective August 1st, so it will not impact the basketball portal this year. It will directly impact NCAA rules by August 1st to the maximum extent permitted by law to bring order and stability to the landscape in certain areas, including transfers. So I guess we don't have to worry about it for April 7th, but
that'll get challenged in court because why wouldn't it?
I assume it'll get challenged in each and every state court by
Yeah,
somebody that wants to transfer. Which does lead us to, now we can get back to the conversation we were planning on having. The transfer portal opens up on the 7th, and I would say 2 days ago it picked up a lot as far as players making it known that they're going to be in the portal, and it's continued today. Badunga, a big man from Kansas, going in the portal. Juke Harris, one of our favorite players in the ACC this year, one of my favorite players in the ACC this year. I believe he increased his scoring average by like 14 points or something like that year over year.
Voted most improved player in the ACC.
Really good player. We actually talked with Steve Forbes about him yesterday before the news that he's intending to go in the portal. He's also putting his name into the NBA draft, so he's not a guarantee he ends up playing somewhere else. But the names have just streamed into social media for this guy's going in the portal, that guy's going in the portal, this guy's going in the portal, which is important because once it is legal to talk to players and make offers and everything, it is very much a land grab, right? So players make it known they're going to be in the portal now, so teams have the ability to watch the tape, do the scouting, decide, do we want this guy? Where is he in the rankings? If we strike out on this shooting guard, we can always come back to this guy. And because of that, it goes very quickly, right? Players are going to be told by coaches things like, all right, here's our offer. You have to accept it now because we have someone else we need to go get. That's a cold, cold world, right? And it's why the agents and everything are doing their work a little bit earlier. We talked with Steve Donahue, the St. Joe's head coach.
Yeah.
And I jokingly said, like, are you ready for the transfer portal to open on the 7th? And he kind of just like, it's already open.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't wait till then. He did clarify that he talks to agents and AAU coaches and everything. He's not talking directly to players. I don't want to get him in trouble. But it is, the 7th it opens up, but it's already opened up. And I'm sure Juke Harris is a very, very popular guy right now, or at least his agent, if he has one, is a very, very popular guy right now with teams trying to figure out how firmly is he in the NBA draft? Can he come back? And if he's willing to come back with this amount of money, do it, because 20 point per game ACC scorers don't grow on trees.
And if I'm one of those agents, I'm not gonna lie, I'd be here at this. I'd be just in the hallway being like, all right, who can I run into?
Either that, or I have a different phone in each ear. Like, you have to be able to communicate a ton with these coaches. And coaches know that, by the way. We talked with Micah Shrewsberry, the head coach of Notre Dame, and he joked he was in a cast, right, on the scooter.
Yeah.
And he goes, Dennis, when we were off air, just said, like, hey, when you get the cast off? And he said, actually, on Tuesday, which is exactly when the portal opens. He goes, but don't worry. While they're taking it off, I can have my phone. I'll be making calls. I'll be doing everything he needs to do. Coaches, their demands are stretched pretty aggressive this time of year. And it is, the gift and the curse of being somebody that's playing in the Final Four, right? If you're playing in the championship game, the portal opens the day after you win.
Yeah.
There is no time to celebrate, or unless you're just not sleeping for like 3 days, which I'm sure Dan Hurley's like, 3 days? I usually do 12.
Yeah.
But right. But it's an interesting way to think about it as far as the season starts. Next year really starts like 2 days ago.
Earlier today, we also talked to the DePaul head coach, Chris Holtman, who's part of the Big East and all that. And he talked about as well as that sometimes you get agents telling you that, hey, if so-and-so's got, X amount of offers for X amount of dollars. Like, hey, he's got 5 offers of $750,000, from these schools and so on. And coaches have to trust each other. Just call your friend and be like, hey, Agents saying this, and they might be honest and say, like, yeah, we're in that ballpark, or like, no.
That's why events like this are so important
Yeah.
for coaches. They have to make friendships.
Yes.
Because, hey, we've got an offer from this school for $750K. You feel much better if that school is your friend. You can call them and be like, hey, is it real? And they might say, it's in the ballpark. They might not go like, yep, it's $750 over 2 years, and here are the requirements and blah, 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 because, they're in a negotiation as well. But obviously, you can't have too many friends in this business that you actually trust. There's that. By the way, we talked to Rupert from Survivor earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Today, a legendary Survivor contestant. There's some of that going on, right? Oh, us? No, we didn't offer him $750K. Oh, he's not worth that. Meanwhile, they did offer $750K. They just don't want you to go up to that number, right? So, oh no, it's $750. That's way too much for him. No, we didn't make that offer. Agent's playing you. You should offer $250. Meanwhile, they offered $750 and they want the kid, right? There's some Survivor going on. You got to know who's in your alliance and who's not, who's playing for you and who's playing for them.
Work that system.
That is number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us. Logan Stankoven potted his 50 for the year. Looking at back. Miller shot, they score! Stankoven was out front. Miller with the accurate throw, and Logan Stankoven with the redirect puts Carolina up 1-0.
That's right. The Carolina Hurricanes not only won last night, but clinched a playoff berth. Still seeding needs to be decided. Still quite a bit that's up in the air, but for sure, 8 years, 8 playoff appearances for the Carolina Hurricanes. Rod Brindamore has things going in the right direction once again. And with that, with more details on how they beat Columbus last night, 5-1. Couple of goals from Stankoven, a lot to talk about. So let's let Adam Gold take it from here. This is 2 minutes of Gold, all about the Canes' win last night.
I got 2 minutes for 2 goals from number 22 that staked Carolina to a lead as they clinched a playoff spot last night against Columbus, and it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Carolina didn't waste any time. 2.5 minutes in, Jackson Blake made a great play to rim the puck around. Keandre Miller got it to the net quickly, and magic.
Miller shot, they score! Stankoven was out front. Miller with the accurate throw, and Logan Stankoven with the redirect puts Carolina up 1-0.
About 6.5 minutes later, Blake did it again. Stankoven in front, in the right place at the right time.
Down for ball, and they score! Give it to Stankoven with the tip in second of the period.
It was 2-0. We were done. Carolina owned the game last night. They were awesome in the first period, maybe the best first period they have played all year. Weren't as good the rest of the way. They certainly weren't as good offensively the rest of the way. Defensively, I thought the blue line was spectacular. I mean, Columbus only had 10 shots in a game they really had to have. 10 shots on goal in a game that they had to have. And when it's all said and done, we know where Carolina's headed.
15 seconds left. Get ready. You're heading back to the postseason for the 8th consecutive year.
Now, there will be time to be one of those people who says, if we don't go to the Stanley Cup Finals, it's a failure. There'll be time for that because this team could end up in the Stanley Cup Finals. There's no question about it. Today, however, is a time to be thrilled that your hockey team is one of those hockey teams that is in the playoffs every year. If you think it's easy to make the playoffs, you are sadly mistaken. There are rosters that are just as good as Carolina's that don't get there year over year over year. Look at the teams that are going to miss this year. They have star power that even Carolina doesn't have. What Carolina has is a work ethic and a head coach that demands accountability, and it puts this team in position to win every single year. The Stanley Cup Finals, that's where we all want to see this team end up. Take our shot there. Tonight, let's celebrate an 8th straight playoff season. Parkway Sleep Health Center. Sound sleep, sound health, sound off for late April hockey again.
Thank you very much to Adam Gold for 2 minutes of Gold, all about the Canes' 5-1 win versus Columbus. We were just doing some stat watching during that 2 minutes of gold. 2 shots from forwards for Columbus last night. That is insane. Good work by the blue line of the Carolina Hurricanes. 2 shots on goal.
10 shots
forwards.
on goal as a whole. That's well done by that team. Good Lord.
Well done. And you won 5-1 for your trouble. Let's go ahead and jump from number 2 to number 1.
It's absolutely true. There's going to be another coach. This is a great program. I didn't say when. I mean, and people are going to speculate all they want. Guys, this team has my full focus. Nothing, I promise you nothing is knocking me off that path. And you guys might call them distractions because you're distracted. That doesn't mean I'm distracted or we're distracted. You know what's pretty cool? Once you get some experience in this deal and you're a player or you're a coach who's been at it a while, you get pretty good at, eliminating the distractions. So I think I'm pretty good at that. And I just can't wait to get to practice today. I'm going to go meet with the staff right now. We're probably a little bit late. That's why Nate's pushing me to get up there. And I'm going to go try to have a good practice.
That was before we knew that Tommy Lloyd was agreeing to a contract extension with Arizona when he was asked about the Carolina job. And you know what? He wasn't distracted. He was playing puppeteer. Not only was he not distracted, he was controlling the whole situation. He was, it appears, he was using the Carolina interest and the Carolina offers or close to offers, discussions, to get everything he wanted out of Arizona, which would be a nice raise, which would be he no longer answers to an athletic director that he reportedly clashed with, which would be more money for his staff. And, I don't know if a guy could have more leverage with his own school than actively coaching a number 1 seed in the Final Four and Carolina offering or reportedly discussing offering to make him the second highest paid coach in the entire country.
I mean, gosh, win a national championship. He can do whatever he wants.
I mean, ask for more. I don't even know.
Yeah.
So Tommy Lloyd not going to be Carolina's head coach is kind of the writing on the wall by that agreement that is made at this moment. Where do they go from there, right? I do as much as a fan base, I usually say hiring the next coach is a fool's errand if you're trying to make everybody happy because everybody has a different idea. Like, it's half the fan base wanted Jerry Stackhouse, half the fan base wanted Tommy Lloyd, half the fan base, 3 halves, wanted Billy Donovan, another half wanted Kenny Smith, and and there are all these off the wall options. You're never going to hire somebody that everybody likes, right? With that being said, the longer you wait, the more everybody talks them into their idea being perfect, right? And I think Tommy Lloyd was getting there with most fans where they were like, you know what, if you're going to force us to take a guy who has rebuilt Arizona pretty quickly and has them in the Final Four and is doing everything in this era correctly, fine. Which is like, all right, twist your arm, they accepted Tommy Lloyd. But now that's not going to happen. And even if you hire Dusty May or Billy Donovan or whoever, I don't care. Like, even if you go hire Eric Spoelstra, it's going to feel – and then that's a complete hypothetical, not a real suggestion. It's going to feel like, oh, you had to settle. Oh, it's not your first choice. Oh, you offered all that money to Lloyd. There are 2 things in sports that I have no interest in doing. Right, I would love to know if I could be a GM. I would love to know if I could be a coach. I would love to know if I could do this, if I could do that. Right, I just for fun. I have no interest in naming a franchise. Like if I have to pick the team mascot, because you're just going to upset people and they're all going to be mad. And I don't really have a ton of interest in hiring a coach because you can pick the guy that has all the success in the world and it can go bad. You can pick the guy who you think all the fans are going to like, and if it goes bad, they're going to say, I didn't like it at the beginning. It's really a difficult spot. And if you get it right, everybody gives the credit to the coach, not to the person that hired him. And it really should all go to the players. So it's a really confusing place right now. I'm not going to get on Carolina for how they handled the Tommy Lloyd situation, especially if the Matt Norlander report is correct from CBS Sports that they tried to make him the second highest paid coach in the country. Like, it's one thing to get turned down. It's another to lowball somebody and expect Carolina's name to just bring the guy over, right? They came correct with the offer. Tommy Lloyd decided he wanted to stay. Move on to the next. If you have a good next option and you go make it work, It's all water under the bridge. Who cares how you got there, right? The next guy is all that matters, and I'm going to withhold judgment until I see who that is. And don't be surprised if it's Billy Donovan or somebody else from the NBA or somebody else from the Final Four, right? If they've waited this long, there's usually a reason to wait, and NBA guys have a reason to wait, and guys that are still coaching in the NBA or in the Final Four have a reason to wait.
We might hear something soon this weekend, for real.
The transfer portal opens on Tuesday. A lot of the action starts long before that. Has started already. So, yeah, I would say time is of the essence. This is not something where you wait for the perfect time for the press conference. You announce it so they can start making their calls and worry about the presser later. At this point, I might even do the introductory press conference like Thursday, even if you hire them now, because I don't want them taking time out of getting ready for the portal to open to go sit in front of reporters for 45 minutes and think about what they're going to say. But that's a conversation for another day. First, you got to get the coach. That's the most important thing you can do. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, is here in Indianapolis, which is why we're talking college basketball almost exclusively today. The Drive is in Indianapolis thanks to Carolina Ale House. We'll remind you of that a few more times. And we'll remind you that coming up next, we have another conversation with a coach, head coach of Charlotte, brand new head coach of Charlotte, Wes Miller, also a former guard for Carolina, stopped by our table earlier today, and you can hear that conversation coming up right after this.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Everything that you can say about Aaron Judge, you can also in a lot of ways apply it to Bryce Harper, and you can absolutely apply it to Mike Trout. You have these guys who you think are going to be the one that is going to be the superstar that wins and wins consistently. And all of these guys haven't done it. All of those guys go into the what if category, and I think that's been detrimental to the game.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This is Ray Womble Jr. from J.E. Womble & Sons in Lillington. Spring is here and lawn mowing will be in full force. Our new lineup of Bobcat zero-turn mowers are bringing tough to turf, built to give you a professional edge, engineered to last longer and work harder. Come check out the Bobcat ZT 2000 series at a discount of $1,200 with 0% financing. And remember, if J.E. Womble & Sons doesn't have it, you don't need it.
This April, the party's in Cary as Abbey Road Tavern and Grill Cary celebrates 30 years of great food, drinks, and unforgettable nights. The 3-day anniversary bash starts Friday night, April 10th, with live music and beer reps handing out freebies. Saturday the 11th is an all-day outdoor party with local bands and a draft truck pouring cold ones. Wrap it up on Sunday the 12th with a hangover party featuring Totally Otis and killer drink specials all weekend long. All happening at Abbey Road Tavern and Grill in Cary. Details at abbeyroadnc.com.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. The tournament is always hot. This year, no different. And FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single game day leading up to the championship game. Build a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Or try live betting. Oh, live betting is fun. And jump in after tip-off, especially if you're like me and you got stuff to do and you get to the game late. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Get your profit boost. Keep the action going with FanDuel. Play your game. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan continues from Radio Row at the Final Four in Indianapolis, thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call us to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. Joining us now here on the Radio Row is Wes Miller, brand new head coach of Charlotte. He's got the gear on, looking the part. Coach, congratulations on the gig. What do we got? We got played at Carolina, Elon, High Point as assistants. You've done the UNCG thing. Now Charlotte. You're collecting like Carolina colleges in some kind of putting like a gauntlet together.
I'm really proud that
I added this up when I was flying to Charlotte to do the press conference, but 33 of the 43 years I've been on this earth I've spent in the state of North Carolina. But you skip over UNCG like it's just another one. I was at some of those places for 1 year. I was at UNCG for, I think, 11 total and 10 as a head coach.
With a lot of success.
Yeah, so I did put my feet down there a little bit. But no, listen, I've always been very proud of being from the state of North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I've been very fortunate that I got to spend the majority of my basketball life in that state, and I'm thrilled to be back.
And I failed to mention in the intro, also an author. What is it? The Road to Blue Heaven, about your journey to Carolina and your career playing there. Did you think the Blue Heaven would be looking outside the family, maybe, with the way this coaching search appears to be going?
It's people bring up the book thing, and that was a long time ago. I wish I'd go back and do it better, but that was cool to take on that.
Sequels.
That's right. One day, I say it. One day, I'm going to write a book, and I'm going to talk about some real college basketball stuff.
That's
it could be a bestseller.
A podcast right here, right now. Start it up.
There you go. But no, like my head's been so down. I don't know how many days it's been since I got the Charlotte job, because it feels like one big day, because things happen so fast when you take over a new job. But as I'm walking around the Final Four, even walking through Charlotte, a lot of people have asked about North Carolina. I haven't had time to think about it. We've been so focused on UNC Charlotte. Obviously, I care deeply about that institution and that program. It's such a part of the foundation of who I am as a coach and as a person. So, they'll hire a great coach. There's no way around it. And, the only thing I'd say is you hope the person they hire cares about the things that make that program special over such a long period of time. But I'll always be a pulling for them, and I'll always be supportive unless we're playing them and that type of thing.
Which makes a lot of sense. We're talking with Wes Miller, brand new head coach at Charlotte. You've been through the brand new head coach thing a few times now. What's the priority number one, and maybe even how is it different taking over a program like Charlotte, say, than when you took over UNCG all those years ago, with how much college basketball has changed?
Well, first off, when you take over a job, there's a lot of chaos, because you're trying to figure out how to function within that athletic department. You're trying to retain some people off a roster, add some people off a roster, jump into what now has become a crazy spring for everybody anyway, with the portal cycles. So there's a lot of chaos. You're trying to get a staff in place, amongst all the outreach things you're trying to do to build, some headway in the community and on the campus. What I've learned from the previous experiences is you can't do it all in one day. You got to focus on the most important things first. And for us, the most important thing is getting the right staff in place and building the right roster. And we try to make sure, with all the other things going on, that's 1 and 2 every single day here. And it'll probably be that way for the next 4 to 6 weeks.
When it comes to putting your staff together, Marcus Page, there was a lot of positive, even in a kind of chaotic offseason for Carolina, during the coaching transition, or whatever you want to call it, Marcus Page was referenced a lot as a guy that the players really liked. What did you see in him, and why'd you bring him to Charlotte?
Well, listen, I got to know Marcus. I knew Marcus from the time he was playing for Coach Williams. Just being, at that time, I was the head coach at UNCG and was in close proximity with the program, and would still go down there and watch practice and visit with Coach in those days. So I knew him enough to say hello. But over the last, 2-3 years, as he's transitioned into coaching, he's been somebody that I've gotten to know in a different way, whether it's on the road recruiting, or there's an event that some guys do with Coach Williams playing golf in Pinehurst in the summer. So we've interacted more and more, and he's become somebody that I've really come to value as a coach and really been impressed with. And shoot, I tried to hire him at Cincinnati. Nobody knows that. I probably shouldn't have put that out there, but certainly it wasn't the right time for him. But he's a guy I've had my eye on for a long time. He was a great player. I think people in North Carolina, or especially in the Raleigh area here, know that.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be a better coach. He is a rising star in our profession. I think coming to Charlotte will be really good for his growth, and I think it'll be really good for our program as well.
Is he a stick? Can he golf?
Well, yeah, we played down in Pinehurst the last couple of years in August. He's got some work to do on the golf course, but he's an athlete, so he can get around the course a little bit. But he plays golf like a basketball coach. I mean, he's not very good yet. So
Well, yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that you guys have to focus on.
That's right.
We're talking with Wes Miller, brand new head coach at Charlotte. You piqued my interest with the book you're going to write, and
that was a joke a little bit.
But we're here at the NABC. The conference is going on. You just came out of the head coaches meeting. Like, what's the buzz? What is everybody talking about as far as, you know, this is this big college basketball era of innovation. What are the things that college head coaches are worried about?
Yeah, well, first off, you know, we're in that mode right now, and I think I just said it. It's boring for a radio interview, but my sole focus is our staff right now and our roster, and I'm not even thinking about much else. But if you want to talk big picture, you know, I think.
Or how about this?
All the changes, right? I think I can answer your question. Cool. All the changes in college basketball, portal, the NIL dynamics that are still continuing, I think, to change. Amongst all this other stuff, nobody talks enough about how social media is changed and become such a big part of sports culture and how that impacts young people and our profession. But there's all these things that have changed. What I've really realized is that you have to adapt to all these things, no doubt. You have to come up with new processes and new systems, and new ways of communication. But the fundamental values about what really is successful, what really wins, like the dynamic of team and sacrificing for team, you know, the right work ethic, doing things the right way, building the right relationships, like that stuff always mattered and always mattered at the highest level. It matters at the highest level still. So how can you maintain your values, the things you believe in, and yet adjust and adapt to some of the changes in our landscape? I think that's the trick for all of us as leaders during all this crazy time of college basketball.
Last question before we let you go, and thanks for taking the time. The scheduling to net rankings strategy, right? How does a school like Charlotte? We've heard from a lot of the mid-major coaches saying, like, we can't get games to play with us. How do you go through making sure that your schedule is tough enough and net rankings strong enough to make your resume match up with your ability?
Well, I think in the American Conference, we have to get back to getting multiple bids. So I think that strategy, not just for Charlotte, but for our league, is extremely important. And you guys know this. It's one of the flaws of the system, but it won't be. The non-conference dictates everything for the league. And which, like last year, our team at Cincinnati, you know, we basically started the year without 3 projected starters and had a very difficult non-conference. We got 2 of those guys back in the fold and played great basketball from January on. You know, in a league like the Big 12, you can play your way back into the tournament conversation. But in a lot of leagues, if you're playing your best basketball during that stretch, it may be impossible, even if you're an at-large level team. There's something that's probably not right about that. We have to find the right scheduling solutions. I don't think they're going to change the system in the next couple of years. We have some experience at Greensboro. It's not the exact same, but we really elevated the net, the RPI rankings in the Southern Conference at that time as a whole, but certainly at UNCG. So I think there are some cool strategies. It's a balance. You got to find those games against quad 1, quad 2 teams. You don't want to play them on the road where you're getting bought because there's a different kind of disadvantage there. Nobody likes to talk about that, but there's the economics of our game, and that's a real dynamic. You want to try to play those games either in home-and-home situations or in neutral sites. Those are really hard games to find. We went through that in our tenure at Greensboro, and we got really good and got sustainable. Nobody wanted to play us. So then you got to do some different things. I remember one time we went and played at Vermont, and they had Anthony Lamb at the time. We ended up playing for the Warriors. They were like a top 60, 70 team in every metric. We were in that same breath. And so neither one of us could get a game. So we won a game at Vermont. To this day, I don't think anybody cared that we won that game. It might be the best one I've ever had as a head coach because it was but you got to do some creative things to elevate your net, your RPI, and you still have to find that balance of your schedule where you're building your team early in the year, you're getting some confidence, and you're preparing for league play. Because at the end of the day, come on, that league championship, I think, is going to matter no matter where you are.
I agree with that as well. Yeah. Wes, we appreciate you for taking the time, and good luck this season.
Thanks, guys.
Once again, that's Wes Miller, the Charlotte head coach as of a few weeks ago, and you just heard a lot of his background there. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Right, this time of year you're thinking of players that can do it all. Maynard Service Company can do it all for your house. Again, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. It's also, right, with it being April now, it is a great time to start thinking about, if you haven't done so already, cooling system maintenance. Have Maynard Service Company set up a recurring schedule where they get out there and make sure your air conditioner is running right. We all know those North Carolina summers are coming up, and that means your AC is probably going to be working pretty darn hard in the not-too-distant future. Don't let that overworking end up in becoming a really, really big problem for you, potentially really costly. Maynard Service Company, cooling maintenance. Time to start thinking about it if you haven't done so already. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical. No matter what it is, remember this number, 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Earlier today, or you can also visit them on MaynardServices.com, by the way, MAYNOR Services.com. Now, as I was saying, earlier today, we caught up with Jason Horowitz from Westwood One, and you're going to hear that conversation coming up right after the break.
Move your sports day forward.
You want a jump start to your program like no other? Hire one of your own. It's exactly what NC State did, and they erased one big hurdle the new coach was going to have, which was earning trust. Justin Gainey's the guy now. Do his expectations of success align with those who were sitting in that room when he said he was at home?
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Now for just $5, get a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, hash browns, and small premium roast coffee. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
If you're exhausted, not just tired, but worn down, this message is for you. I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Across North Carolina, many people wait months, sometimes over a year, just to start sleep care. That wait isn't normal, and it isn't necessary. At Parkway, most patients are seen within weeks, with virtual consultations and home sleep studies that remove unnecessary delays. Sleep care shouldn't have to depend on how long you're willing to wait.
Parkway Sleep, your fastest path to better sleep. Start today at parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
Canes hockey is back. Grab an ice cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your Canes. Only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles, so easy to sip and enjoy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside. Official hard tea and lemonade of the Carolina Hurricanes. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Win big with a point card like the Cat Mini Excavator. Get up to $4,500 off select models during tournament season. Call Gregory Pool Cat at 919-609-7321. Mini size, major power, championship performance.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan continues in Indianapolis thanks to Carolina Ale House. Carolina Ale House, call them to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. We are in Indianapolis for Final Four Radio Row, and joining us now is Westwood One NCAA tournament host Jason Horowitz. Jason, we just got word, along with everybody else, that Tommy Lloyd signed a big old fat extension.
Yeah, how about that?
With Arizona. Where do you think that puts Carolina? Because, obviously Tommy Lloyd's name was linked to that, and I assume a lot of the money he just got is because Carolina offered him a bunch of money.
First of all, I don't know that you leave Arizona. Like, Lute Olson's a legendary figure, but there's been a lot of time that has passed since Lute Olson's time and then since he's passed. And, enough to be this is our expectation. I don't have to live this is where we are. And nobody has won more games in 5 years than Tommy Lloyd has done at Arizona in college basketball history, right? And they may win the whole thing. So you have that part of it. North Carolina is going to get a great coach. But at the same time, it's hard, right? I mean, you guys know this. Life is about expectations, and maybe the expectations aren't realistic.
What do you want them to be? What do they need to be? Hubert Davis this year, if Caleb Wilson doesn't get hurt, they're not a 6 seed. They're not losing in the first game. Maybe they're here. Maybe they're not, right? Is he fired? Is he not? Like all those things. And is it just based off of Caleb Wilson's thumb injury? So I don't know. I think you can win big at a lot of places, and with a lot of money being infused in today's college basketball, you don't have to be at North Carolina.
If it feels like North Carolina, and it does to me, they're going big game hunting.
Yes, and they should.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
Yeah,
they are Carolina.
Right. Yeah.
What big names are left out there for them to hunt if Tommy Lloyd's turning them down?
Yeah, I mean, that's not one of those things where it's like that sticks out in my head because I don't usually live in that world.
Okay.
Like,
what
but
Dusty
like is
May?
Bill? So if I'm Dusty May, would I want to? The whole Bob Knight, Indiana. I'm at Michigan. I just built this thing. Heck, if I win this championship, they're going to build a statue of me. Right? The only other person in Michigan history to win a national championship only coached 6 games to win a national championship, and I'm building this thing. So I don't know that I'd want to, and I really like Dusty's approach to this new modern era of college basketball, where so many coaches complain about it, and then they go and do the exact same thing. You guys had one in Will Wade. Dusty May doesn't complain about it. He's like, I actually don't mind it. I don't have to waste all this time. Or like, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. It just is the new era of college. And he is open about it. Now, can people be like, well, he's got big bucks to say that? Sure. But at the same time, he's someone that's enjoyable to deal with. And he's at a place that enjoys having him. So I don't know that he has to. But let me ask you, is Billy Donovan a name that is someone that people in North Carolina want? I don't know if he wants to. I have no idea. But he's been gone from college for a while.
I don't think there's a consensus. It felt like everyone was kind of moving towards Tommy Lloyd, and now this is going to send everybody splintering into a million different directions for what they want.
Yeah.
But since you brought it up, we're talking with Jason Horowitz, Westwood One NCAA tournament host. I did see on your social media, on your Twitter, in response to some Will Wade comments, leopards don't really change their spot.
They don't. They don't.
Explain what you mean by that one.
Well, I think the basis of all of that is more along the lines of I think it's interesting that we were watching a first 4 game where Sean Miller and Will Wade were coaching against each other in an NCAA tournament game where both of them were involved in an FBI investigation and on tape.
Yep.
And here we are a few years later and, almost celebrating where they are. But more than that, like, coaches constantly complain about their players. And he left McNeese, as you should, right? McNeese is hard play. And, I'm sure he appreciates the opportunity he got to be there. But you go to NC State, they're giving you this opportunity. You're bringing some players with you. And they underachieved, right? I mean, with the roster they built to be an 11 seed in the first 4 and be out on a game-winning shot is an underachievement. And to immediately be gone right away. Now, look, I'm sure there's some unfinished business back at LSU, but you look at Will Wade and Lane Kiffin and Kim Mulkey as the trio at LSU, and particularly Lane Kiffin and what he complains about the transfer portal more than anybody else in the dollars in college sports, and he's the epitome of that, right? And so he kind of goes together.
There is until the punishments fit the crimes, I guess. Like, until there's rules that make what they're doing not like Dabo Swinney talking about LSU.
Sure,
laid it all out there. Like,
I don't have a problem with the lack of rules. I really don't. Like, I think the amount of is it feel chaotic? Yes. Does it feel harder to follow and keep up with? Yes. I all of that is true. I have a problem with the complaining about it.
Okay.
Because the people complaining about it are also the ones who are the perpetrators of it, right? The amount of complaining the coaches do and have always done for the last few years, and while they are also the ones like, well, we got to go get a new roster. We got to go do that. You don't have to, right? You don't have to. You're choosing to. And, like, can you win not doing it? Maybe, maybe not. But you don't have to, and they're doing it anyway.
When you look at like some of the Final Four rosters, though, and you see guys that have started their, 5 guys, the 5 starters started their careers in 5 different places.
Sure.
It's
like I said, it's a little chaotic and hard to follow.
Yeah, it's a little. But is it realistic to think that somebody could maybe not dance with the devil in that way in the wild west?
So I don't think of it as a devil, though. That's the thing. I think it's where we've come from, of where college sports used to be, and not really grasping of what college sports is, or maybe what college sports should have been, which is probably a happy medium a long time ago. UConn's here, and it was the UConn National Championship where it came to light that a player couldn't have cream cheese on a bagel, right?
Yeah.
And as stupid as that is, and it's also silly to think about that. In college sports, we've always promoted the coaches. They've been the face. They're the ones that stay the longest, and that makes perfect sense. But when we see highlights, particularly for the tournament, of great moments in college basketball that maybe put schools on the map, it's players. It's not coaches. Jim Valvano is a different story.
Run around looking for a hug.
100%. But Lorenzo Charles is also the one who made the play. And I think it's a mixture of all of that in a happy medium where we all need to live, and yet it's like everything else in this world. You're on both ends of the spectrum.
While we have you here, Jason Horowitz, and I just got the 2-minute wrap it up, so do it quickly.
You don't have to listen to that.
I respect your time. But give us. Do you have a pick? Do you have somebody out there which team do you think is the last one standing?
I think it's going to be Michigan beating Illinois for the national championship. I do. I think the size of Illinois, the amount of guys they could throw at Terrace Reed, I think their guards are better. The shooting is better. The rebounding percentage for Illinois is. I think Illinois figures out a way to beat UConn in game one, and as good as Arizona is. Their leading scorers are freshmen. No team in the history of college basketball has ever won the championship where your top 2 leading scorers are freshmen. You've gotten here, you've gotten to the, even Duke last year, your top 2 scorers were freshmen, Knipple, but they didn't win it.
Yep.
And Michigan's leading scorers are not. So I think Michigan, Illinois, and Michigan beats Illinois for the national championship.
All right, there it is. Jason Horowitz with the prediction. We appreciate it, Jason. There you go. Jason actually did give us a prediction there. I respect it. There was a lot of dancing around predictions. He said no, Michigan over Illinois, which could very easily happen, although Big Ten haters, and some have described me as a Big Ten hater, wouldn't love that final.
No, not at all.
Not even a little bit. But it very easily could happen. They're 2 very good teams. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan here in Indianapolis. We are nearing our conclusion here in Indianapolis, but we will provide a few more interviews for you on the way out. Coming up in a few minutes, you'll hear from Nick Baugh, who is a former Kansas guard who played for Bill Self, who was recruited by Roy Williams.
That's right.
So there's some Carolina ties there, and then more from there. Okay, we'll leave you there, Dennis. Before we move on. Before we leave.
Yeah.
We've now been here for a whirlwind 48 hours.
Yeah.
Where we talked to dozens of newsmakers, coaches, analysts. What stood out to you most about our time here in Indianapolis? What comment or question that somebody posed will remain with you as we go back to Carolina?
I think the biggest thing just here from talking to the coaches, again, from all different levels, whether they be power conference coaches, mid-majors, whatever it might be, is that we asked about the transfer portal upcoming, and the coach from St. Joe said it's already started.
Oh, yeah.
And I think just everyone's trying to figure out what is next for the sport and what's the best thing for the sport going forward. Because it seems like, and Jason Horowitz, as you heard, just pointed this out, is that everyone complains about it, yet everyone's complicit in it, which is a very, very good point. Because it's like, well, we know that these are allowed, but it doesn't mean you have to do it.
It's the thing that I'm going to take away most is everybody says they're being transparent.
Yeah.
Everybody says, no, I'm honest with my kids. No, I answer every question. I want what's best for them. But then everybody is immediately going to, the issue is all of the bad actors, right? The issue is everyone else isn't being honest. And I'm going like, well, it's difficult for everybody to say that they're the only one out there doing things the right way, especially, and I want to be clear, these are wildly competitive people. So if it is within the laws, within the rules, or even just being allowed, I find it very difficult to think everybody is going to pass on things that could help their team if that means, the others are going to have an advantage, right? Like, when it comes down to it, you better win, right? Every coach we talk to, their job security is only as far as they continue winning.
Yep.
Maybe if you're Dan Hurley or one of the couple guys that have multiple national championships, those guys might be a little bit more secure. But everybody else, you have to win. So you can go into a transfer portal thinking, I'm going to be honest with everybody. I'm going to be super high ethics, and I'm not going to mess over any kids. But if others are, and it's helping them win, it's very difficult for you to not, right? So that's kind of why I was getting at with Jason there, which is like, unless the rules are enforced in a way that make everybody stop doing it, everybody's going to keep doing it, or else you're going to fall behind.
Yeah.
Right? You can't be the one sitting there going like, I don't lie to kids. If everyone else is and they're getting better recruits because of it, it's like, well, then you're probably going to lose and you're probably not going to have your job. And then eventually everybody that's there is going to be the ones, or the ones with the biggest money that don't have to lie, right? If you just have the biggest chip stacks at the table, you can be honest when you just drop Godfather offers everywhere.
I wish I was in the room when the Queens coach, Grant Hughes, when he talked about how he was going to bring up – I'm sorry, Grant Leonard, my apologies. Yep. When Grant Leonard was in the room saying, hey, when the coaches' meeting takes place, I'm going to bring up the fact that an assistant coach from an SEC school was sitting at one of my games, and as he used the term peacocking. Yeah, I'm like, I wish I was in the room for when he brought that up because he said he was going to. I wish I was in the room just to see what was said. Like, just guys getting called out. I wish I was in the room. Fly on the wall for that.
That was actually one of the more interesting conversations, Grant Leonard, and what he said, and it's all true, right? It's all true. It's just I don't know if anything will change, which is a interesting way to think about it. I do want to give one more shout out here to Carolina Ale House for helping present our trip here to Indianapolis. Call them to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. Thank you to all of our guests. You can catch them all on YouTube, podcasts, and everything else. Thank you to Dennis and Max back at the studio. Max did a great job keeping us up and running as well. With that being said,
shout out to Westwood One for setting this all up.
Also true. Shout out to Westwood One. More interviews coming your way. We got to get back to Carolina. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.
Listen for the Get That Out of Here's.
Rejected. Cameron Boozer got a piece. Get that out of there.
The deep looks from downtown.
McNeil flops up a three and connects left corner.
Did he just do that?
McNeil fires a three. Got it far corner. Falling down. It's a 2-point game.
The road to Indianapolis runs through 99.9 The Fan. Driven by Fast Park and Relax, Chapel Hill Tire and Roof Works.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. It's the best time of the year for college basketball, and Buffalo Brothers is a slam dunk. Best place in the Triangle to watch all the big games. They always have great drink specials, and check this out. Every Monday, half-price wings all day. That's half-price wings all day Monday. Dine in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Check out any of their 5 Triangle locations or online at buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
This Saturday, April 4th, elevate your game day with the North Carolina Courage. Kickoffs at 6:30 as they face the Portland Thorns. Upgrade to premium seating, lounges, party decks, and the best views in the house. Limited availability. Reserve now at nccourage.com or call 919-459-8144.
Stay informed with The Rundown, the daily newsletter from High School OT that delivers high school sports news and insights straight to your inbox. Brought to you by High School OT and powered by our sponsors Wake Orthopedics, First Carolina Bank, and Smith Douglas Homes. Subscribe to The Rundown at highschoolot.com.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
The Canes light the lamp here.